Inside the coffin lay not the corpse of a great emperor, nor the kind of transformed corpse Su Jie had imagined, but rather a segment of a finger, seemingly just a pinky, and only half of it at that. This severed finger exuded an ancient, desolate aura. When Su Jie's gaze focused on it, he smelled a faint hint of blood. His mind felt as if it had been struck by a heavy hammer, and his soul trembled violently, nearly losing its composure. On the other side, Wei Yushuang was overwhelmed, her entire body instantly boiling with blood, almost on the verge of being torn apart by this force. Whoosh! Suddenly, Su Jie appeared behind Wei Yushuang, grabbed her without a hint of gentleness, and hurled her into the distance, then positioned himself beside the coffin. In that instant, Wei Yushuang's body was nearly on the brink of explosion. Had Su Jie's speed been a moment slower, she would have been crushed to death by this aura, completely annihilated. Standing beside the coffin at this close distance, in Su Jie's divine sense, this severed finger seemed both infinitely large and infinitely small. It was like the source of Tao, with each inch of its flesh containing countless profound Tao markings. Staring directly at this severed finger felt like staring into an eternally ancient chaos river. The kind of power that suppressed the 9 heavens, 10 earths, and the 8 wastelands was so overwhelming that Su Jie's neutron combat body, built from his physical form, and the soul refined by the black hole all things technique, shook like a candle in the wind, with blood fissures cracking open across his body. Whoosh! In Su Jie's sea of consciousness, the Kunlun mirror emerged on its own. The legendary immortal treasure was now trembling slightly, flying above the severed finger, with a myriad of light traces appearing on its surface, channeling the immortal treasure's power, gradually covering the Kunlun mirror. Almost at the moment this severed finger emerged from the coffin, as the bloody aura erupted, several ancient entities from unknown parts of the Tao River were simultaneously startled, opening their dazzling eyes as if to peer through the countless waves of the Tao River, searching for the source of this aura. Tianwu, is it you? After hiding for so many years, you've finally slipped up. This is the aura of an immortal, unmistakable. I shall never forget it in my lifetime. After a millennium, the immortal corpse reappears. This time, I must. Several figures, some domineering, some indifferent, and some unremarkable, stood within the Tao River. One wielded a black long spear, as if its shaft held countless rotating worlds. Another had a heavenly cauldron suspended above, annihilating the void like a spider web. One carried a long sword, its sword chi hanging the heavenly river upside down, and another bore a large banner with chaos currents cascading like a waterfall. These figures, with one accord, each utilized their methods, heading toward the direction of the aura's transmission. The Tao River, vast and turbulent, appeared as calm as a lake beneath their feet. They moved along the Tao River, their true spirits shining across eternity. Some Tao chaos creatures, sensing this aura from afar, instinctively tucked their tails and fled, while other dominant Tao chaos creatures, swinging their massive bodies, also swam toward the source of this aura, their eyes filled with greed. On a small hilltop on the blue star, the Kunlun mirror floated above the severed finger, and Su Jie felt the pressure on him suddenly ease. He took out the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree to help alleviate some pressure, finally able to breathe heavily. Han Ruyan's face was solemn, her blood-colored wedding dress waving like ripples. She raised the 10 million soul banner, and the shrunken underworld behind her manifested. Under the oppressive aura of this severed finger, reminiscent of a great torrent, the underworld trembled incessantly, but with the aid of the 10 million soul banner, it was somehow withstanding it. At this moment, Wei Yushuang also stood behind Su Jie, looking at his broad back, which shielded her from the finger's pressure, feeling inexplicably touched. If it wasn't for Su Jie's intervention earlier, she would have perished here. The terror of having every inch of her flesh crushed was still palpably haunting in her memory. This is the Tai ancestor. Why is there only one finger? Unable to hold back, Wei Yushuang spoke, assuming the severed finger belonged to the Emperor Tianwu. This finger isn't right. It's not Emperor Tianwu's. Han Ruyan floated to Su Jie's side, her eyes fixed on the finger inside the coffin, addressing Wei Yushuang's question. If it's not the Tai ancestors, then what is it? Wei Yushuang, startled, thought for a moment and realized the truth. Although the Tai ancestor was famed throughout the Tianyuan world, hailed as the greatest emperor of 1,000,000 years, it was unlikely that a mere severed finger could force Su Jie and Han Ruyan, these void realm powerhouses, to struggle to sustain themselves. Su Jie, eyes sharp and fixated on the severed finger, pondered deeply and spoke solemnly. If I'm not mistaken, this might be a severed finger of an immortal. Boom! With Su Jie's words, Han Ruyan and Wei Yushuang stood stunned. An immortal, a legendary existence. Anything associated with an immortal is terrifying, like immortal treasures. 5 such treasures brought forth the 5 great holy lands of the Tianyuan world. Such is their significance. The severed finger before them, said to be left by an immortal, raises questions. How could an immortal be injured? How did a severed finger end up interred in a coffin suspected to be Emperor Tianwu's? Su Jie's eyes remained glued to the severed finger, filled with countless thoughts. The stone coffin might not have originally interred Emperor Tianwu, but something more related to the immortal. Su Jie recalled that Emperor Tianwu's death was due to an alliance of 3 holy lands, including the 9 Heavens Holy Land, with 3 crossing ancestors pursuing him. Previously, Su Jie assumed the assault on Emperor Tianwu was primarily for the Kunlun Mirror immortal treasure. Such treasures are rare even in the vast Tianyuan world, each being a holy land's treasure. A war over them is justifiable. Now, seeing this suspected immortal's severed finger, Su Jie conjectured, more than just the Kunlun Mirror, it might have involved secrets related to immortality, which would justify such a disaster. It's known that, at the crossing ancestor level, their domains are terrifying. They seldom engage in full combat. Even as seen in the cause and effect spacetime, eradicating young Su Jie by that crossing ancestor showed that they have ways to counter, with risks even when outnumbering a powerful opponent. What would drive these holy lands to such extremes, beyond the Kunlun Mirror, would be secrets about immortality, the ultimate goal pursued by these crossing ancestors. Achieving immortality may seem only a step beyond the crossing realm, yet it's a chasm holding all cultivators captive. The traces of immortals only appeared in the ancient Tianyuan world, beyond the Tao River, possessing authority over creation and destruction, able to alter life cycles, true dominion over all existence, an eternal, undying state. If Emperor Tianwu grasped any secrets of immortality, Su Jie speculated that he wouldn't keep them in the Tianyuan world, unable to escape the scrutiny of crossing ancestors, even if buried deeply. The most likely possibility would be that Emperor Tianwu sent these secrets back to Blue Star via the Kunlun Mirror, where it would be safe enough. Therefore, the stone coffin placed on Blue Star, sealing the aura of the immortal's severed finger, might be the greatest treasure Emperor Tianwu left for Blue Star, or potentially its root of destruction. While Su Jie's mind raced, the immortal's severed finger's aura, though covered by the Kunlun Mirror, continued to ripple inward. Centering upon this hill, the surrounding 100-mile void utterly shattered, with chaotic currents raging like a torrent. Su Jie was suddenly seized with a warning feeling. If the crossing great powers once waged a war over this immortal's severed finger, causing Emperor Tianwu's death, then the act of opening the coffin might have already drawn the attention of the great powers' true spirits wandering in the Tao River. Realizing this, Su Jie quickly reached out, intending to reseal the coffin. Just as Su Jie was about to close the coffin, the Kunlun Mirror hovering above the immortal finger suddenly underwent a change. Absorbing the aura of the immortal finger, the mirror surface began to shine with a mysterious yellow light. The Kunlun Mirror originally had dozens of large and small cracks, but now these cracks started healing one by one. Once, Su Jie hunted down a chaotic creature, and the Kunlun Mirror devoured its soul, only managing to repair one crack. But now, with just the aura of the immortal finger, the Kunlun Mirror began to fully repair itself. Su Jie's soul trembled slightly, for the Kunlun Mirror belonged to him. As the Kunlun Mirror underwent changes and started mending old fissures, Su Jie could synchronously feel the influence of these changes. with the strength of the Kunlun mirror rapidly increasing every moment. Su Jie's mastery over it deepened continuously. In a short time, most of the cracks in the Kunlun mirror were repaired. It was only then that the changes brought by the Kunlun mirror finally ceased. As Su Jie focused his mind, his divine sense seemed to enter a boundless star map, with countless dazzling stars shining inside it. Swish! Right after Su Jie closed the coffin, he manipulated the Kunlun mirror to open the void door, sweeping everyone present and the immortal finger into it. For safety reasons, it's not wise to conduct experiments on Blue Star. In the blink of an eye, Su Jie and the coffin sealing the immortal finger vanished from Blue Star. Upon reappearing, Su Jie found himself on an unfamiliar planet. This planet was utterly silent, with yellow sand covering the sky and the sweeping gales extending boundlessly. Suddenly arriving in an unfamiliar world, both Han Ruyan and Wei Yushuang were slightly dazed, especially Han Ruyan, who could no longer sense any presence of Blue Star, nor did they seem to be within the solar system anymore. Don't worry. At this moment, Su Jie spoke up, staring at the immortal finger coffin, and said, I controlled this. We have now left the solar system, located on a planet in another star system. As the Kunlun mirror was being repaired, Su Jie's control over the Kunlun mirror increased unprecedentedly. In the past, Su Jie could only passively shuttle between the two anchor points of Blue Star and the Tianyuan world. Now, Su Jie could actively control the Kunlun mirror, choosing to open more void doors, leaping across space scales, even reaching galaxy distances measured by light years with ease. At this moment, the Kunlun mirror truly revealed its formidable prowess as an immortal treasure. Regarding escape capability, it probably ranked first among the 5 immortal treasures. No wonder Emperor Tianwu could narrowly escape from the siege of the 3 crossing Dao ancestor masters back then. The Kunlun mirror played an indispensable role. Wei Yushuang quietly let out a sigh of relief. Knowing it was Su Jie's doing, she put her mind at ease immediately, nearly thinking there was no way back. From Su Jie's embrace, the 1,000-hand centipede emitted a sound and darted in front of the coffin. On the coffin lay a drop of bright red blood, which had flowed out from the break of the immortal finger earlier. The coffin couldn't restrict the permeation of this drop of immortal blood, causing it to float out from the coffin. Yeah. The annual ringworm nestled on the head of the 1,000-hand centipede, staring intently at this earth-immortal blood, seemingly having an unprecedented attraction for the poisonous insect. The 2 poisonous insects approached the immortal blood cautiously, their eyes revealing yearning, but just inhaling the aura of the immortal blood made them a bit dizzy and drowsy. Directly absorbing it might cause their whole bodies to explode. Let me take a look first. Su Jie signaled the 1,000-hand centipede and the annual ringworm to stay calm, stepping up to gaze at this drop of immortal blood. The immortal blood hovered in mid-air, sharing the same hue as ordinary human blood. But upon a closer look, one would realize the drop of immortal blood presented a bizarre and dazzling fundamental source, resembling a starry sky, with incomprehensible origin secrets formed by dense runes of the Great Tao, causing dizziness and tremendous spirit impact. Once appeared, this drop of immortal blood began to naturally evaporate visibly into the air. Su Jie, who practiced the blood sea devouring sky demon skill, had always been sensitive to blood, but now facing this drop of immortal blood, Su Jie couldn't sense any information from it, only knowing it contained power beyond his understanding. Thinking of this, Su Jie reached out, attempting to control and separate a part of this drop of immortal blood. The uncontrolled immortal blood distorted and struggled as Su Jie barely managed to separate about 1,000th of it with his max-level blood sea devouring sky demon skill, carefully feeding it to the 1,000-hand centipede. At the moment the 1,000-hand centipede absorbed the immortal blood, its body started trembling furiously, every cell in its body frantically absorbing the energy of this immortal blood. In an instant, the 1,000-hand centipede resumed its true form, stretching 10,000 meters long, fully digesting it. Seeing this, Su Jie proceeded to use the same method, giving the annual ringworm a share of immortal blood to absorb and merge. The energy contained within this immortal blood represents vast evolution for life, As the contract master of the two poisonous insects, Su Jie could clearly feel that both poisonous insects, empowered by the force of this immortal blood, began crazily advancing in evolution. Su Jie not only let the poisonous insects absorb it, but also tried to strip off a part, and, utilizing the Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill, absorb and turn it into his own strength. Su Jie once thought that his Blood Sea devouring Sky Demon skill had reached its final level with no further progress, but the advent of this immortal blood shattered all expectations. Under the stimulus of the immortal blood, Su Jie's physique was continuously enhanced, his inner spiritual power surged, and the strength of his neutron combat body, originally at small success, grew at least by 1/3 compared to before. Su Jie didn't forget Han Ruyan or Wei Yushuang beside him. This immortal blood couldn't be handled in a conventional way. The storage bag couldn't hold it. They had to deal with it quickly, or it would completely evaporate, wasted. Su Jie even opened the Kunlun mirror again to return to Blue Star and brought Qin Yushang and Lu Yingying over to absorb this immortal blood together. As for why not do it on Blue Star, Su Jie worried the traces left by the immortal blood would attract the attention of crossing realm strongmen, causing trouble by having people block Blue Star. Under the influence of this drop of immortal blood evaporating, this originally dead planet underwent a huge transformation as the energy of the immortal blood diffused into the air. A planet that was supposed to be lifeless and devoid of any life aura began to exhibit traces of chaotic chi flow, thus evolving into spiritual power, yin-yang chi, and 5 elements power. Rumble. Dark clouds spread across the planet, and bolts of thunder tore through the sky. Vitality was nurtured in the land where the lightning struck. Time seemed to be compressed billions of times. Some tender green sprouts emerged from the ground, quickly absorbing the primitive spiritual energy and chaotic chi flow in the air, and swiftly grew. In the blink of an eye, the planet was lush with dense forests, and towering trees over 100 meters tall grew vibrantly. At the same time, influenced by various energies, single-celled organisms continued to evolve, gradually resulting in the emergence of primitive life forms like insects and reptiles. Just one drop of immortal blood directly transformed a dead planet into a star of life. Su Jie thought of the legend of Pangu opening the sky. It said that Pangu's corpse after death turned into wind and rain, nurturing the earth, with his eyes becoming the sun and moon, and his blood becoming rivers, while his hair became vegetation. Now, the appearance of this drop of immortal blood had a similarly magical effect. It was just a drop of blood, yet it directly created a planet of life. In just a moment, Su Jie suddenly sensed a vast heavenly Tao fortune descending upon him. This heavenly Tao fortune was different from before, not even provided by this planet. It felt more like a blessing from this star system or even the universe to Su Jie. The continuously growing heavenly Tao fortune brought joy to Su Jie's heart, as he did not expect such an unexpected delight. However, Su Jie's attention had already shifted and was now on that coffin. This ordinary coffin suddenly revealed a dense scripture on it. Great Tao Heavenly Scripture. Su Jie focused his eyes and read out the name of the scripture. And the content on it, after reading it, shocked Su Jie greatly. It actually contained explanations regarding the crossing realm. According to the Great Tao Heavenly Scripture, the journey of life cultivation from the Yunling realm, Secret realm, Taoist platform realm, Purple Mansion realm, to the Hollow realm are essentially all for personal cultivation and development of the human body's secret mini-universe. It's only from the Hollow realm that it involves the external universe slightly. But once reaching the crossing realm, everything becomes completely different. Crossing Tao cultivators are powerful not just because of themselves. They are a piece of chaos and heaven themselves. They embody the great Tao. The formidable aspect of crossing Tao cultivators is that they possess true spirit, a state transformed from the divine soul. By integrating the true spirit into the Tao River, it's equivalent to becoming part of the Tao River and being able to freely control the surrounding Tao River. Since the time, space, matter, and energy within the Tao River are chaotic, crossing Tao cultivators can turn the power of the Tao River into their own strength. If the Void Realm cultivator is like a fish in the Tao River, at most a powerful shark, then the crossing Tao cultivator has already jumped out of this category, becoming the river water itself. As long as the unique true spirit remains, the crossing Tao cultivator is as undying. Regardless of how many times the physical body is destroyed, the crossing Tao cultivator can borrow the infinite energy from the Tao river to be reborn. The only way to kill a crossing Tao cultivator is to destroy the true spirit, because the true spirit is embedded in the Tao river and is part of the Tao river itself. It can be said that to destroy the true spirit, one must have the incredible power to destroy a section of the Tao river. Only a crossing Tao cultivator can kill another crossing Tao cultivator. Of course, the true spirit of a crossing Tao cultivator would also wear down over time. Even if their lifespan is counted in millions of years, death will eventually come. Therefore, crossing Tao cultivators endlessly aspire to become immortal, as an immortal's true spirit is eternally indestructible, and their immortal light is everlasting, truly conquering time without aging. The more Su Jie read, the more engrossed he became. This great Tao heavenly scripture should have been left by Emperor Tianwu, recording the conditions of crossing Tao cultivators and methods to transform the divine soul into true spirit. There is only one method, and that is honing. Constantly honing the divine soul of a void realm cultivator, like sharpening a blunt knife into a sword that cuts through iron as if it were mud, until the divine soul transforms into a brilliant true spirit through repeated honing. To achieve this, there are two prerequisites. One being the whetstone, the immortal treasure. The divine soul of a void realm cultivator cannot be honed by anything. Only an immortal treasure can serve as the whetstone to hone the divine soul a little at a time. Other treasures, even top-level Tao treasures, are of no use. This is also why the 5 great holy lands of Tianyuan world ultimately serve as the destination for all Emperor Dongshu, because they are eager to advance. Those who achieve Emperor Dongshu are the pride of the heavens, with only one person emerging from a continent every few thousand to 10,000 years. Since they see the road ahead, how could they possibly stop? Possessing just this condition means that if Emperor Dongshu want to achieve the crossing Tao realm, they must join a holy land. Otherwise, there is no dream of using immortal treasure to hone the divine soul. This also shows why Emperor Tianwu was so despised by the 9 heavens holy land. He stole the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror, not just losing a weapon, but cutting off the hope of advancement for all their Emperor Dongshu. The second condition is that to hone the divine soul of the void realm must be strong enough. The intensity of the immortal treasure is too high. If the divine soul of Emperor Dongshu is not strong enough, a sudden collision with the immortal treasure will only shatter the knife, causing the divine soul to collapse, leading to instant death. Therefore, using an immortal treasure to hone the divine soul is a high-risk endeavor, typically attempted only by top-tier Emperor Dongshu. Each honing session must be spaced tens or hundreds of years apart to allow for recovery. The best recovery method is heavenly Tao fortune. The 5 great holy lands view each continent as a nursery, regularly harvesting heavenly Tao fortune for their own use. A blade sharpens over time through prolonged honing. The stronger the divine soul of Emperor Dongshu, the longer the honing time can be, and the more frequent the honing sessions can be. Correspondingly, the chances of advancing to the crossing Tao realm also increase. This is the content outlined in the Crossing Tao Heavenly Scripture, which simply and clearly explains information about crossing Tao cultivators. Previously, Su Jie wasn't very clear about how to break through to the crossing realm. He only thought about refining Blue Star to further enhance his strength. Now, Su Jie realized that the Kunlun mirror in his hand was the key to achieving the crossing Tao mirror. As Su Jie pondered, the drop of immortal blood had completely evaporated. Although he felt a bit regretful since the amount of immortal blood they could absorb along with the poisonous insects was limited, and the majority evaporated into the air, becoming nourishment for the life on this planet. But fortunately, the immortal blood was an unexpected boon, and more importantly, Su Jie gained a huge amount of heavenly Tao fortune from it, which would greatly benefit him in refining Blue Star. With the immortal blood gone, Su Jie opened the portal, carrying the coffin, and with the women and 2 sleeping poisonous insects, returned to Blue Star. What Su Jie didn't know was that just a few days after he left, the planet faced a catastrophic disaster. Immortal blood, along with the aura of the Kunlun mirror. Humph! I know who you are. With a cold snort, the entire planet was pierced by a pitch-black spear. The core magma gushed out, causing the planet to crack and shatter in the dark silent universe, ending everything that the life forms born from the immortal blood had just begun. Blue Star. After returning from the unknown planet, Su Jie first settled the annual ringworm and the thousand-hand centipede. These two poisonous insects started to undergo transformation and evolution due to absorbing immortal blood, racing towards the direction of becoming 10-turn golden goo. This evolution is not something that can be completed in a short time. Apart from the two insects, Han Ruyan, Qin Yushang, Lu Yingying, and Wei Yushuang also gained great benefits from the immortal blood. Take Lu Yingying for example, her cultivation advanced by leaps and bounds, breaking through from the secret realm to the Taoist platform realm, and it's the third level of the Taoist platform realm. Although her power is nothing compared to Su Jie, she was so delighted that she was jumping around, hugging Su Jie's arm. Su Jie, look at me, I am now a Taoist platform realm expert. Lu Yingying's face was full of joy. She is easily satisfied, able to break through to the Taoist platform realm, which is already quite a rare achievement for someone with poor talent like her. As for comparing combat strength, not to mention Su Jie himself, he is also surrounded by figures like the Thousand-Hand Centipede and Han Ruyan, so there's no room for her to act. Besides, if the situation truly required her help, her presence would make no difference. This much self-awareness Lu Yingying still had. I see you, if you stick with me, you'll at least become a great emperor in the future. Su Jie ruffled Lu Yingying's long hair and looked at the others. Needless to say, Han Ruyan absorbed more immortal blood than Lu Yingying, but as she is already the Yin Ruin's Ghost King, it is impossible for her to directly break through to crossing Dao in one step. The gap is still too big, but her combat strength has significantly increased in reality. Qin Yushang and Wei Yushuang seem to have the most changes. Both of their strengths broke through to late-stage Purple Mansion realm cultivation. In the Tianyuan world, with this cultivation, one could roam a continent unrestrained except for the likes of Emperor Dongshu. Husband. That portion of immortal blood is such a pity. Qin Yushang expressed regret, as most of that drop of immortal blood evaporated into the air, becoming nutrients for the origin of planetary life. If it could have been kept with the powerful effects of such immortal blood, it could undoubtedly create a large number of strong practitioners and would have significantly enhanced even a hollow like Su Jie. The fact that we got to absorb some is already pretty lucky. Su Jie shook his head. The immortal blood is something that one can only stumble upon by luck. Not to mention that Su Jie didn't have a container to hold the immortal blood. Even if he did, he would worry about drawing the attention of a crossing Dao ancestor master. Did you see how Su Jie even went to an alien planet outside the galaxy, just to prevent the coordinates of Blue Star, his base, from being exposed? Su Jie, where do you think my great ancestor went? Will he still be alive? Wei Yushuang also looked at Su Jie, her tone a bit trembling and excited. She followed Su Jie to Blue Star to retrieve her great ancestor's remains. In the end, she didn't see the remains but found a section of the immortal broken finger. Wei Yushuang believed that since Emperor Tianwu buried the immortal broken finger on Blue Star and disappeared without a trace, maybe her great ancestor was still alive. She personally experienced the wonders of the immortal blood just now. If Emperor Tianwu was seriously injured and escaped to Blue Star, and ingested the immortal blood, even if he couldn't fully heal, at least he could keep his life. Given the great emperor's lifespan, as long as Emperor Tianwu wasn't killed in battle, he would still be quite young now. I don't know the answer to this. I can only say that there's indeed such a possibility. Su Jie said this, but in his heart, he was already convinced that Emperor Tianwu most likely faked his death to escape. Who knows where he is hiding? Being able to find the immortal finger and escape back to Blue Star under the siege of 3 crossing Dao ancestor masters. Su Jie doesn't believe Emperor Tianwu would fall so easily. No matter what, I must find my great ancestor. Although Su Jie did not give a definitive answer, it still made Wei Yushuang extremely excited, her eyes shining brightly. All right, you all go back and consolidate your cultivation. Make full use of the energy from the immortal blood. My wife, please look after Xiaoqian and the others for me while I go cultivate on the moon for a while. Su Jie didn't stay here for long. He was eager to experiment. After instructing Han Ruyan, His figure already soared into the sky, tearing through the Tao River, heading towards the moon. Moon! Su Jie sat cross-legged on the ground. The Kunlun mirror floated in mid-air, its surface emitting a faint Shenhuang radiance, reflecting Su Jie's figure. Hu! Su Jie suddenly exhaled gently, adjusting his state to the best condition. Then his divine soul left his body. In an instant, Su Jie's soul transformed into the form of a chaos dharma, a massive body like a mountain, with wings that seemed to hang from the sky, no hands or feet, a round body, a vortex-like single eye in the middle, pitch black, cold, and sinister. If ordinary people made eye contact with it, they would immediately fall into a state of mental madness. This is the strongest form of Su Jie's soul. Su Jie planned to attempt cultivating the immortal finger coffin's great Tao heavenly scripture technique, trying to use the Tao treasure to temper his divine soul. Coincidentally, Su Jie had the Kunlun mirror at hand. Other Holy Land Hollow Emperors had to look at the mood of a crossing Tao ancestor master when they wished to temper their divine soul. But Su Jie had no such worries. The legacy of Emperor Tianwu was still playing its role. Moreover, the strength of Su Jie's divine soul was high enough. Refining the moon, this pocket world, enhanced the growth of Su Jie's divine soul. Plus, due to practicing the black hole all things technique and possessing the neutron combat body, the physical body and soul complemented each other. The growth of the physical body also promoted the enhancement of the soul. So overall, Su Jie's soul now stood at the pinnacle among Hollow Emperors. This point is also reflected in combat power. If Su Jie had a clear shortcoming, it would have been impossible for him to consecutively eliminate 5 Emperor Donxus of the Hollow. It is because Su Jie's divine soul is strong enough that he dares to use the Kunlun mirror to hone his divine soul. After thorough preparation, Su Jie controlled the Kunlun mirror with his mind, aiming it at the Chaos Dharma form. The Kunlun mirror continuously rotated, its surface reflecting hazy halos, rapidly approaching, and flew to the Chaos Dharma form in a flash. The next moment, the Kunlun mirror completely tore apart the Tao River, extracting hundreds or thousands of distorted, mysterious, and unfathomable divine runes from it. These are the so-called Tao divine patterns, representing the primordial mysteries and laws of the Tao. Only an immortal treasure can manifest them from the Tao River. These Tao divine patterns are like branding irons. Each one is heavy as Mount Tai, carrying with them an astonishing heat and impact. Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form was hit, as fragile as paper, being torn into shocking holes, emitting wisps of green smoke from the heat. At the same time, intense pain spread from his soul throughout Su Jie's entire being. Even with Su Jie's resilience, the pain made his face pale, and his body shook. The pain of the soul is far beyond what the physical body can compare, especially when it feels like the soul is being torn and burned. Su Jie even thought his soul was shredded. Rumbling, the Kunlun mirror quietly revolved in the void, and more Tao divine patterns emerged from the void, surging like a tide. Most Tao divine patterns dissipated in the air, with only a few being imprinted on Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form, marking its surface with Tao divine patterns. However, compared to the size of the Chaos Dharma form, the number of Tao divine patterns was pitifully small. According to the Great Tao Heavenly Scripture, to break through as a crossing Tao cultivator's true spirit requires imprinting Tao divine patterns on most of the Dharma form's surface body. The more Tao divine patterns imprinted, the closer one approaches the primordial source of the Tao, enabling the divine soul to transform into a true spirit. When the true spirit merges into the Tao River, the range of mastery over the Tao River will be broader, and the combat power demonstrated naturally stronger. Looks like I have to go hard. Su Jie's face was somewhat feral as he stared intently at the rotating Kunlun mirror in the void, controlling it with his mind. The next moment, the Kunlun mirror stopped rotating, and its mysterious and yellow surface firmly absorbed several Tao divine patterns before charging at Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form. Boom! It was like an immense hydraulic press crashing onto the soul, and Su Jie's mind went blank. He collapsed to the ground, his body twitching uncontrollably. Even the neutron combat body struggled to stabilize. Immortal treasures are relics left by immortals, representing the strongest weapons in the current world. And the soul is often the most fragile part of the human body, where every bit of pain it feels is amplified thousands, even tens of thousands of times compared to the physical body. Now Su Jie used his soul to directly collide with the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror, using his most vulnerable part to clash with the strongest weapon. If other Emperor Donxus knew, they would call Su Jie a lunatic. Because of one careless move under the blow of an immortal treasure, the Dharma form could be shattered at best, turning oneself into an idiot, and at worst, the Dharma form could explode, leading to death and catastrophe with terrifyingly high risks. But it has to be said, Su Jie's maneuver is indeed effective. The immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror, wrapped in and absorbing several Tao divine patterns, acted like a brute force hammer, forcefully pounding them into the chaos Dharma form surface, imprinting them firmly, preventing them from dissipating into the air. After more than 10 minutes, Su Jie finally regained his senses from the aftermath of that pain. Looking up at the dazzling Tao divine patterns on the chaos Dharma form, and then at the spinning Kunlun mirror, Su Jie steeled his resolve. Since his soul could now withstand it, Su Jie no longer hesitated and controlled the Kunlun mirror once more, embedding the Tao divine patterns into his soul. Boom! 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 The dull thuds echoed intermittently on the moon. With each impact from the Kunlun mirror, Su Jie's body trembled, veins bulging all over, convulsing into a ball when the pain peaked, demonstrating the extent of the damage to Su Jie. This kind of crazy action is something the Emperor Donxus of Tianyuan would not dare imagine, for their souls are not as strong and resilient as Su Jie's. Even Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form, transformed from the black hole all things technique, struggled to withstand it. If they were in his place, they would likely be shattered into pieces by the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror. With each strike, more and more Tao divine patterns were imprinted on the Chaos Dharma form. Each Tao divine pattern signifies the mysteries of heaven and earth. When imprinted on Su Jie's Dharma form, the mystical power inherent to the Tao divine patterns gradually began to manifest on the Chaos Dharma form. It's akin to the enchanting process in games. Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form is continuously being tempered and strengthened through the impacts from the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror. Unnoticed, 3 days had passed. Su Jie sat limply on the ground, drenched in sweat. Upon looking at the Chaos Dharma form again, approximately 1% of its surface was covered with Tao divine patterns, especially the Vortex Monocular, which had the most Tao divine patterns. These Tao divine patterns shimmered with radiant brilliance, even able to move across the surface. Each Tao divine pattern possessed unrivaled power, akin to dragons soaring above, exerting such powerful force that the void trembled. Let me see the power. After regaining some physical strength, Su Jie calmed his breathing, eager to unleash the Chaos Dharma form in an attack. Swoosh! Each Tao divine pattern on the surface of the Chaos Dharma form glowed brightly. As the Vortex Monocular blinked, an infinite and brilliant divine light burst forth, seemingly ignoring the limitations of space and time, instantly reaching millions of kilometers away to Mars, striking a bottomless pit on its surface. The entire Mars trembled violently from this divine light attack, causing a super earthquake on the nearby continental plates. And if there had been life on Mars, it would have triggered a cataclysmic event. The power of the Dharma form has increased by at least several times. Even Su Jie was surprised by the attack, as the effects of these Tao divine patterns greatly exceeded his expectations, not only providing an attack boost but most importantly, elevating Su Jie's soul strength, beginning its transformation towards a true spirit. However, the current Tao divine patterns cover only about 1% of the vast surface of Su Jie's Chaos Dharma form. To be confident in transforming into a true spirit, with the vast size of the Chaos Dharma form, at least 50% of its surface must be covered in Tao divine patterns to stand a chance. This rate would astound Emperor Donxus in Tianyuan, as it often takes them hundreds of years to imprint so many Tao divine patterns. Su Jie could feel that his Chaos Dharma form had reached its capacity to contain Tao divine patterns. To accommodate more, he must either further enhance soul strength, akin to widening and increasing the height of a container, or allow the Chaos Dharma form to slowly adapt to these Tao divine patterns over a long time, merging them into one, enabling it to house more Tao divine patterns in the future, though it would take a long time, which is what most Emperor Donxus in Tianyuan do. Enhance divine soul power. Su Jie set his eyes from the moon toward the blue star. To enhance divine soul, the most direct method is to refine more pocket worlds. If the human body is compared to a computer, the divine soul is the CPU, and refining new pocket worlds is akin to parallelly connecting multi-core CPUs, quickly enhancing the computer's processing speed and performance, fundamentally strengthening the divine soul. Previously, from that unknown planet, due to immortal blood, Su Jie obtained a large amount of heavenly Tao fortune. Combined with Su Jie's existing heavenly Tao fortune, Su Jie estimated he was close to reaching the minimum threshold required to refine the blue star. The Taoist Ancestors' third lecture is about to commence, and our reporter is currently in Chan Country to provide real-time coverage for you. The immortal fate has opened once again, and the competition is fierce. To ascend to the moon's heavenly palace to seek the Tao, not only cultivators but even some reincarnation game players are participating. The following are this time's hot contenders for the front row cushions. The chief of the Jekka Group's extraordinary department, known as the Sword Immortal, Shan Xueqing. The leader of the Feathered Serpent God Sect, Lechika. The king of demon beasts, Xiong Yanyu. On the blue star, shortly after the pressure of the immortal blood's aura subsided, a piece of news quickly spread across the entire star, diverting the attention of blue star humans. Because the God Taoist ancestor once again issued a divine decree, opening the third transmission of teachings, giving the world an opportunity to listen to the Taoist sound. This opportunity attracted strong figures from all over the world, including the newly emerged reincarnator players who rose due to the reincarnation game. When the day of the lecture began, the numerous strong figures gathered in Chan Country saw the moon constantly approaching the blue star, and even the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree hanging down thousands of branches, forming a passage connecting the blue star and the moon. Those cultivators participating for the first time were still stunned, while those with experience immediately ran up the thousands of feet-tall branches and willows of the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, preparing to secure a good spot in the front row. In an instant, nearly 100,000 cultivators, bearing the pressure of the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, advanced, many being eliminated halfway, but some persevered till the end, successfully ascending to the moon, and entered the glorious divine hall of the God Taoist ancestors' heavenly palace. "Hey, little bear, why have you gained weight again?" Beside Shan Xueqing sat the black bear spirit Xiong Yanyu, and noticing his plump and round figure, she couldn't help but tease. "What are you saying? This is called being robust." Xiong Yanyu glared with big eyes. Since advancing to the secret realm to become a demon king, he had become a guest of honor among humans, always having good food and drink served to him. His days were incredibly comfortable, so his weight naturally increased, didn't it? "Lechika, I heard the Black Palace intends to negotiate peace with you. Is that true?" Shan Xueqing shifted her gaze to Lechika, who was a fierce figure, having single-handedly founded the Feathered Serpent God Sect, tormenting the beautiful country government authorities bitterly. They had now occupied over 60% of the beautiful country's territory and were conducting a large-scale purge of the white elites within. Negotiation never possible. Lechika's expression was indifferent. Since the death of his parents, he had resolved to fight against the beautiful country government to the end. Amidst the chit-chat, suddenly the hall fell silent. Everyone simultaneously closed their mouths. Because at some unknown time, a figure appeared on the high platform at the front, casting a gaze as majestic as a prison, sending a chill down everyone's hearts. "Greetings to the Taoist ancestor." The next moment, everyone respectfully stood up, bowed to the figure, grateful for the transmission of teaching they received, worthy of such reverence. Su Jie's face showed no ripple of emotion, his gaze bright as he observed the crowd below, numbering already in the thousands. Most were still at the Yunling realm, with only 7 or 8 reaching the secret realm cultivation. However, their presence here indicated they were all individuals of great opportunity and fortune, with heavenly Tao fortune gathered above their heads. They, undoubtedly, were the favored children of fortune emerging from the blue star during the era of spiritual energy revival. Of course, in Su Jie's eyes at this moment, All these people were the finest crops ready for harvest. The surging heavenly Tao fortune above these people's heads was Su Jie's target for harvesting. The crops were mature, and it was time for the harvest. This lecture will explain the essence of the Miao method, boundless Taoist skills, the only true self. Su Jie began speaking in a clear voice, his words echoing in the hall. As various miraculous phenomena appeared with his teaching, lotuses appeared in the void, auspicious clouds spread, purple aura emerged from the east. The gathered cultivators quickly immersed themselves in the lecture, listening to Su Jie's heavenly sounds. The knowledge Su Jie imparted consisted of a review of the cultivation system and explanations of some universally applicable cultivation techniques. For the cultivation desert of the Blue Star, Su Jie's teachings, though simple, were the most suitable direction for Blue Star cultivators. If he delved into profundity, they would find it difficult to comprehend and might even encounter mishaps in cultivation. During this process, golden lotuses bloomed on the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, their fragrance permeating the hall, allowing everyone to enter a deep state of enlightenment, becoming deeply engrossed in the understanding of the Miao Fa Jini. Seeing this scene, a trace of a smile appeared at the corner of Su Jie's mouth. "Go!" Su Jie formed a hand gesture, and the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree's slender roots descended like snakes, unceasingly approaching the cultivators below. Whoosh! One root pierced the skull of a cultivator, suspending him mid-air, the entire process leaving no sign of struggle as he couldn't escape from the state of enlightenment. The next moment, strands of heavenly Tao fortune belonging to this cultivator began to be drawn upwards through the root, gathering into the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree. More and more roots descended, suspending each cultivator, creating a sinister scene that looked like a horror movie, with bodies hanging mid-air like walking corpses, eyes closed, bodies occasionally convulsing slightly. During this process, only a few, like La Chica, showed slight signs of struggle, seemingly trying to awaken from enlightenment, as their heavenly Tao fortune was strongest, instinctively resisting the extraction of their heavenly Tao fortune. But ultimately, they were far below Su Jie's level, just mere secret realm cultivators. Su Jie simply snapped his fingers. The Taoist sound in the void oscillated, and soon, all struggles ceased, falling into a state of half-enlightenment, half-unconsciousness. The endless heavenly Tao fortune was extracted by the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, and then converged on Su Jie, whose heavenly Tao fortune began to grow rapidly. Unable to help it, a smile appeared on Su Jie's face like a harvest farmer, as he looked at the somewhat grim scene before him. The seeds he had painstakingly sowed on Blue Star finally bore fruit today. The methods Su Jie used at this time were also practiced by several holy lands in Tianyuan world on the continents they viewed as nurseries. However, compared to Su Jie's gentle methods, those holy lands were often more ruthless, typically killing people first before stripping away their fortune. After all, heavenly Tao fortune is extremely important to Emperor Dongshu. Merely using it to refine grotto heavens and increase the chance of achieving the crossing realm is enough to drive them mad. In comparison, Su Jie was just purely extracting heavenly Tao fortune, which meant that these cultivators would only lose the heavens' favor and luck in a mysterious way, without any other impact. The entire process lasted for several days. Once Su Jie finished extracting the heavenly Tao fortune from the attending cultivators, he left them a minimal amount, like leaving roots for leaks, so the fortune could grow back and recover. When it does, Su Jie can harvest it again. After completing all this, Su Jie smoothly concluded the teaching of Tao. As the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree retracted its roots and the wounds healed completely, everyone gradually awoke from a dreamlike state. Some cultivators, after awakening, felt a certain inexplicable sense of loss as if they had lost something important. But more cultivators felt nothing, enthusiastically discussing the insights gained from listening to Tao ancestors' teachings. Some learned the fire control and refining flame technique. Some understood the 5 elements Tao. Some comprehended the yin-yang 2 forms. Only those strong ones, whom heaven favored with great fortune, like La Chica, Xiong Yanyu, and Xin Shueqing, felt a stronger sense of emptiness. However, they mostly attributed it to discomfort from listening to Tao teachings, never suspecting the Tao ancestor had played tricks. The teaching of Tao has ended. You may all return. Su Jie waved his hand, and everyone suddenly found themselves transported from the moon back to the ground, astonishing the cultivators with his star-moving techniques. After sending everyone away, Su Jie could no longer hide his smile. Haha! Now I've gathered enough heavenly Tao fortune to refine Blue Star's heavenly Tao fortune. Here I come, Blue Star Mother. Su Jie laughed loudly, gazing toward the blue planet, where the enormous heavenly Tao fortune above him transformed into a purple mansion celestial palace, opening the boundary between the great Tao river and reality, revealing the space where Blue Star's heavenly Tao resides. In sight was an endless ocean of purple, exuding a sacred, immortal, magnificent, vast, and supreme aura. This wasn't genuine seawater but more like clusters of purple cloud energy, representing the root of Blue Star's heavenly Tao. With experience in refining the moon, Su Jie smoothly used his heavenly Tao fortune as bait, reaching into the heavenly Tao space. Rumble! The purple ocean instantly surged with great tides upon the appearance of this outsider, seemingly rejecting any invaders. However, near Su Jie's purple mansion celestial palace, the ocean sensed Su Jie's aura and its original tumultuous power greatly diminished, almost but not quite becoming calm. Su Jie's speculations were confirmed, his smile growing more radiant. Indeed, Blue Star's true mother. Compared to the Blue Star cultivators, Su Jie was the true son of Blue Star's fortune. Even spiritual energy recovery was orchestrated by Su Jie, stolen from Tianyuan world. Su Jie faced nearly no rejection from Blue Star's heavenly Tao. Had it been Tianyuan world, he would have been struck by heavenly thunder long ago. Clouds of purple were drawn by Su Jie's heavenly Tao fortune, continuously absorbed by his purple mansion celestial palace, becoming part of Su Jie. Behind Su Jie, an original star disk emerged as a large amount of gas, ice, and dust rotated and fused under gravitational forces, with ever-increasing mass capturing small and large celestial bodies in the disk, eventually creating a spherical high-temperature lava mass from accumulated matter. It appeared utterly primitive, completely irregular in shape, still emitting scorching heat. But gradually, with Su Jie's progress in refining Blue Star, the irregular magnesium iron crust began to experience intense volcanic activity, forming secondary atmospheres from gases that constituted vapor and carbon dioxide. The vapor evaporation accelerated the surface cooling, forming clouds, causing richer precipitation, which cooled and solidified the lava into the most primitive surface, a supercontinent. Next, with geological plate movements and abundant rainfall forming blue seas, continents, mountains thousands of meters high, deep grooves, and rifts appeared, prompting primitive life forms to begin emerging, lending vitality to the sphere. An atmosphere began to form above the sphere. Inside, metal veins and high-temperature magma condensed, generating a geomagnetic field, with oxygen and various gases emerging. Finally, mountains, plains, trenches, tundra, and forests continually evolved on the sphere. Upon closer inspection, it was almost identical to Blue Star, like a miniaturized Blue Star encircling Su Jie, including the moon cave void, all appearing accompanying Blue Star. By now, more than half a month had passed, and Su Jie's refining of Blue Star as a hollow reached its final phase. Life evolution. Su Jie's eyes gleamed sharply as myriad life forms on miniaturized Blue Star began a grand evolution. They were like foam-like phantoms, sometimes evolving into new forms, sometimes dispersing due to flawed evolution. After countless simulations, tiny dust-like life emerged on Blue Star. While resembling Blue Star's diverse species, these weren't real life forms but illusions simulated by Su Jie, mimicking a biosphere's function, simulating evolution as if genuinely independent life forms. Completing this final step symbolized Su Jie completely refining Blue Star. Under the influence, Su Jie's divine soul constantly strengthened and expanded. His neutron combat body rapidly soared due to Blue Star's refinement. Standing on the moon, Su Jie twisted his neck and suddenly extended his right hand. Rumble! Above Blue Star, clouds transformed, forming a massive layer blocking the sky. While in several space stations orbiting Blue Star, astronauts from various countries widened their eyes in shock. From their perspective, a cloud-formed giant hand was holding Blue Star, with palm lines larger than the Mariana Trench and fingers like heaven-reaching divine peaks, leaving them dumbstruck. The third largest planet in the solar system at that moment appeared as a glass bead in a giant grasp, a truly terrifying scene, as if a god was ending the world, ready to crush Blue Star, leaving some eyes rolling in fear. Today, I am the strongest beneath the crossing realm. Su Jie retracted the hand and dispersed the enormous cloud grasp over Blue Star, unable to stop laughing arrogantly. With prior moon refinement, Su Jie effortlessly overpowered great emperors, and with Blue Star's greater mass and volume, refining Blue Star as a hollow exponentially increased Su Jie's combat strength. It's not Su Jie's arrogance but the impossibility of a hollow great emperor contesting with him in crossing realm absence. In Su Jie's eyes, Tianyuan world's hollow great emperors are akin to chickens or dogs. On the moon, Su Jie felt the enhancement after refining Blue Star. After the excitement faded, Su Jie took out the Kunlun mirror. Under Su Jie's control, the Kunlun mirror began vibrating and rotating, tearing through the Tao River, stripping out pieces of Tao divine patterns. Meanwhile, Su Jie's soul transformed into a Chaos Dharma form. Compared to before, his Chaos Dharma form had become more solid, now seeming as tangible as a real Tao Chaos creature if one didn't look closely. During the refining process of Blue Star, Su Jie achieved an all-round enhancement, especially in the Divine Soul domain, as refining Blue Star was akin to receiving assistance from heavenly Tao computation power, leading to a substantial improvement in the soul dimension. This improvement in the Divine Soul additionally allowed Su Jie to reopen the Kunlun soul refining, using the immortal treasure to polish his soul and transform it into a true spirit. Previously, the Tao divine patterns that the soul could contain had reached their limit. Now that the container has become larger, Su Jie could naturally resume soul refining. Pieces of profound, chaotic, and immortal aura of Tao divine patterns pierced the void, symbolizing the origin and principles of the Tao. Accompanied by the bombardment of the Kunlun mirror, they imprinted on Su Jie's soul like a branding iron. During this process, Su Jie's whole body sweated profusely, veins popped up, and his features slightly twisted in pain. Even for an immortal, the soul ranks as the most fragile aspect, while the immortal treasure serves as the strongest lance. Their collision brought agony to even a tough guy like Su Jie. However, it is precisely this collision and polishing that allows the soul to continuously refine, eventually transforming into a true spirit, evolving from weakest to strongest, achieving the state where it can fuse with the Tao River. This pain is a road Su Jie willingly endures, as it is essential for becoming stronger. More and more Tao divine patterns were imprinted on the surface of the Chaos Dharma form, enhancing its extraordinary nature. Even a genuine chaotic creature couldn't compare in terms of grandeur before the Chaos Dharma form at this moment. Boom! 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 The sound of the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror's bombardment echoed in the void, accompanied by the pained groans of a human figure. The Chaos Dharma form seemed to be forged thousands of times, transforming from cast iron into fine steel, its imposing aura becoming even more formidable. This process lasted for a full week, and the Chaos Dharma form had undergone significant changes. At this time, 10% of the surface area of the Chaos Dharma form was covered with Tao divine patterns, its brilliance shining like stars, its physique sprawling like mountain ranges. Its wings could extinguish eternal strong winds, and merely floating in midair caused the void to struggle to contain it, producing spiderweb-like cracks. Su Jie sat cross-legged on the moon's oil, recovering his state. After a moment, Su Jie looked up, observing the void crushed and cracked by the Chaos Dharma form. He could vaguely sense a rejection within the heavens and earth, causing his soul to throb slightly. Indeed, when the soul becomes powerful to a certain extent, it faces rejection by the heavens and earth. Su Jie murmured to himself, noting a phenomenon in nature, where the stronger an animal becomes, the greater its demand for resources. If resources become insufficient, the environment starts to degrade, possibly leading to species extinction. The true spirit state of the soul is truly terrifyingly destructive to the actual environment. The mere existence of a true spirit can shatter the void, bringing unprecedented havoc to reality, faced with the inherent malice and expulsion of heavenly Tao. Only environments like the Tao River are suitable habitats for true spirits. This is also why the crossing Tao ancestors of the Tianyuan world rarely return to reality, as true spirits constantly wander within the Tao River. Another reason is that the true spirit of crossing Tao ancestors merges into the Tao River, becoming a limitation unto them. The heavenly Tao of the Tianyuan world isn't like blue stars. Legend has it the Tianyuan world is a land of immortals. Even crossing Tao ancestors face rejection and targeting by its heavenly Tao, potentially even inflicting harm via tribulation lightning. Thus, the true spirits of crossing Tao ancestors do not easily return to the Tianyuan world, as it can injure them. The longer they stay, the greater the damage. However, there are exceptions. The Tao River possesses tides, and periodically, chaotic tides impact the heavenly Tao of the Tianyuan world. If the Tianyuan world is likened to an isolated island and the Tao River to an ocean, then crossing Tao ancestors are leviathans unprecedented in size, only able to dwell in the depths of the ocean. Only when tide currents flood the island and the water is deep enough can these leviathans successfully reach the island. Otherwise, the whale-like ancestors attempting to reach the island would amount to stranding, causing them great harm. Su Jie gained some understanding of why the crossing Tao ancestors of the 5 great holy lands typically reside within the Tao River. It's not that they don't wish to return, but rather that they're constrained. Su Jie deduces that when Emperor Tianwu could return to Blue Star, it was likely because his true spirit was severely damaged, resulting in relatively less rejection from the heavenly Tao of this universe. But in general, if crossing Tao ancestors truly disregard everything, willing to endure self-inflicted damage to force their way in, even heavenly Tao finds it challenging to genuinely blockade them. Strictly speaking, crossing Tao ancestors' true spirits are integrated with the Tao River, virtually constituting a segment of the Tao River. Even if their physical bodies were utterly destroyed and ground to dust, they could reconstruct a body relying on their true spirit, akin to an immortal existence. Their sole fear lies in the damage of the true spirit. 10% of the Tao divine patterns. Su Jie clenched his fists, the chaos dharma returning to his mind, as he carefully contemplated the changes within. Although there was still a significant gap from covering 50% of the chaos dharma surface with Tao divine patterns, which is the minimum requirement for transformation into a true spirit, Su Jie believed that as long as the crossing Tao ancestor master didn't personally appear, he wouldn't fear anyone. However, Su Jie was also acutely aware that he was still far from being a match for a true crossing Tao ancestor. The opponent had already completed the true spirit transformation. Unless Su Jie also achieved the status of crossing Tao ancestor, he wouldn't be able to destroy the opponent's true spirit, which required Su Jie to have the capability to simultaneously destroy a vast expanse of Tao River. But to rapidly enhance his power, Su Jie had already, by now, nearly exhausted Blue Star, making it exceedingly difficult to acquire vast amounts of heavenly Tao fortune. Unless Su Jie looked towards the direction of Mount Tai on Blue Star, where a large formation was secretly being laid out, sealing the immortal finger coffin left behind by Emperor Tianwu. Su Jie had a bold and wild idea. When immortal blood naturally vaporized on an unknown planet, it directly led to the emergence of a life star, simultaneously bestowing Su Jie with an immense heavenly Tao fortune. The solar system possessed multiple planets: Mercury, Venus, Blue Star, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, a total of 8 major planets. Among them, some planet sizes like Jupiter, the largest in the solar system, had a volume approximately 1,300 times that of Blue Star, with mass exceeding the combined total of the other 7 planets. If Su Jie were to use immortal blood on these planets, directly transforming them into life stars, he would not only gain the vast heavenly Tao fortune he had always dreamed of but could also refine these planets into hollow, further boosting his strength, enabling the Chaos Dharma to accommodate more Tao divine patterns, and hastening his rise to the crossing realm. Even if there's enough immortal blood to refine the sun. Unfortunately, Su Jie's ideas were appealing, but upon past investigation of the immortal finger, He found the blood cells within were entirely dry, rendering his plan unfeasible. Perhaps someone among the 5 great holy lands knows where Emperor Tianwu acquired this piece of the immortal finger. Su Jie had a hunch. Seeing 3 holy lands crossing Dao ancestor masters besiege Emperor Tianwu accentuated the desirability of Tianwu's immortal finger among many crossing Dao ancestors. Glancing at the Kunlun mirror, Su Jie trusted its immense power to traverse space, believing that even a crossing Dao ancestor, as long as he was cautiously prudent, would find it difficult to apprehend him. If only I could obtain vast amounts of immortal blood. The more Su Jie mused, the more his eyes burned with passion, as it could save him thousands of years, propelling him toward the crossing realm at maximum speed. However, if Su Jie ascended by refining the planets of the solar system, the emergence of immortal blood would undoubtedly attract the attention of those crossing Dao ancestors, and if he didn't promptly ascend to crossing, they might act first to eliminate him, a double-edged sword. Yet, in pursuit of attaining crossing power sooner, Su Jie was willing to take the risk. Blue Star. Upon Su Jie's successful refining of Blue Star, Han Ruyan and other ladies sensed it simultaneously, particularly Han Ruyan, who was aware of Su Jie's plan. Han Ruyan did not seek Su Jie but waited at her place for several days. As expected, a portal appeared in the void, and Su Jie emerged from it, casually walking before her. "Husband, did you succeed?" Han Ruyan sat beneath a 10,000-meter deep-sea bed, where her fierce ghost aura had displaced seawater, leaving only sinister and eerie underworld structures scattered. Near Han Ruyan lay 2 insect cocoons, one large and one small, housing the evolving 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm. Han Ruyan was responsible for caring for these poisonous insects. "From now on, call me Blue Star Emperor." Su Jie chuckled and shared his joy with Han Ruyan. Han Ruyan understood the implication of Su Jie's words, smiled and congratulated him. "Congratulations, husband. From today you command the cosmos on Blue Star." After a few casual conversations with Han Ruyan, Su Jie's gaze fell upon the still-evolving insect cocoons and asked, "How are they doing?" "The gene sequence of the immortal blood is excessively domineering. They're trying to construct insect bodies based on immortal blood to ascend as 10-turn golden goo. But currently, it's proving challenging, with substantial risk of evolution failure." Han Ruyan's face turned serious. The poisonous insects faced potential evolutionary failure, and if they failed, the consequences weren't favorable. Su Jie's smile faded as he approached the 2 insect cocoons and placed his hands upon them. Through the cocoons, Su Jie sensed the vigorous surging life force within and the chaotic state of genetic evolution. Unlike Su Jie and his companions who merely absorbed the energy contained in immortal blood, the 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm not only extracted this energy but also absorbed the gene sequence contained within, using it as evolutionary material. Poisonous insects evolved through devouring. The stronger the creatures they consumed, the more they could harness and perfect their genes, enhancing their strengths while transitioning toward the form of a perfect creature. However, for the 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm, the gene sequence within the immortal blood was far too domineering and complex, and upon contact, their own genes tended to collapse instantaneously, preventing them from ascending to 10-turn golden goo. "These little creatures are somewhat greedy." Su Jie shook his head, swiftly understanding the situation of the 2 poisonous insects. The state of these 2 poisonous insects wasn't promising. Should they successfully ascend, their combat power would be extraordinarily formidable, given their fusion of part of the immortal blood's gene sequence. Yet, if their breakthrough failed, they might not face death but would suffer significant vitality loss, losing the opportunity for ascension in the near term. Merely, the 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm chose the most challenging path for 10-turn golden goo evolution. Had they followed Su Jie's arranged method, they wouldn't face such risks, albeit their post-ascension power might not be as great. There's only one solution for now. After contemplating, Su Jie, possessing unparalleled knowledge of poisonous insects in Tianyuan world, quickly devised a strategy. The 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm, merely relying on their gene sequences, found it difficult to fuse with the immortal blood genes. Su Jie deemed their genetic material too scant. If their genetic repository were enriched within the vast genetic data, a possibility to blend with the immortal blood gene might be found. To enrich the genetic repository, ordinary creatures wouldn't suffice. Looks like hunting chaotic creatures should be prioritized. Su Jie murmured to himself. Indeed, his focus shifted to chaotic creatures, whose potent genes might supplement the thousand-handed centipede and annual ring worm's genetic repository, offering hope for gene fusion with immortal blood. However, a dilemma faced Su Jie. While hunting chaotic creatures wouldn't challenge his combat prowess, locating them was arduous. Chaotic creatures weren't mere animals. Even within Tao River, they were rare. Otherwise, Su Jie wouldn't have only managed to hunt 2 chaotic creatures previously, with one devoured by the thousand-handed centipede, the other used for nurturing monsters in the reincarnation game. Using the Kunlun mirror as bait was risky, leading Su Jie to worry that while attracting chaotic creatures, the Crossing Dao ancestors, and the chaotic creatures' dominators of equal Crossing Dao ancestor strength would converge, escalating the issue. Within the Tao River, Crossing Dao ancestors were in their complete state, able to unleash their entire combat power. The more Su Jie understood about Crossing Dao ancestors, the more he realized their abilities. Previously, with only partial knowledge, he dared to recklessly venture within Tao River. Now Su Jie had to exercise caution and prudence. Tianyuan World. Outside the boundary of the Tao River, accompanied by the chaotic Qi flow, a gigantic chaotic creature moaned as its head was smashed open by the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, with its body suffering massive fractures. Su Jie stood in the void, the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree activated, and the divine thunder of the Tao River swarmed in, instantly electrocuting the chaotic creature, causing its whole body to tremble and char, completely severing its last trace of life force. The third one. Su Jie exhaled lightly. This was already the 6th month since Su Jie came to hunt chaotic creatures in the Tao River, encountering the 3rd Tao chaos creature. Even though Su Jie was actively searching and possessed great strength, the number of chaotic creatures in the Tao River was just too sparse. In all this time, Su Jie had only found 3. Putting away the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, the void door of the Kunlun mirror opened, aiming at the chaotic creature's corpse in front. Swish! The chaotic creature's body rapidly approached the void door, then was completely twisted and swallowed inside. As Su Jie took a big step and entered. With a shift in view, Su Jie appeared in the moon core, where there were 2 insect cocoons, large and small, precisely the thousand-hand centipede and annual ringworm that were transferred here. Whether sensing Su Jie's presence or discovering a tasty treat, the 2 insect cocoons suddenly pulsed faster, with faint insect cries as if they were chicks eagerly waiting for their parents to feed them. Su Jie shook his head helplessly, grabbed with his large hand, compressing and crushing the gigantic chaotic creature corpse, evenly spreading it around the 2 insect cocoons. The insect cocoons released astonishing heat waves, continuously absorbing the flesh and blood of the chaotic creature, causing this flesh and blood to quickly decay and dry up, losing vitality, as the genes and life energy were absorbed by the thousand-hand centipede and annual ringworm. The aura of the 2 insect cocoons strengthened greatly after absorbing the chaotic creature's corpse. But Su Jie knew that merely a few chaotic creatures were not enough for the 2 poisonous insects to hatch and evolve into 10-turn golden goo. If they hadn't absorbed the dominant immortal blood genes, perhaps, but having fused with immortal blood, the difficulty increased tenfold. Crack! While Su Jie contemplated, the void suddenly trembled, the Tao River tore apart, and out stepped a graceful figure, Han Ruyan, the Ghost Bride. She took out the 10 million soul banner, unfolded the 18 levels of hell, and threw out a giant chaotic creature corpse. Not only was Su Jie hunting chaotic creatures, but Han Ruyan, having ascended to In Ruin's Ghost King, was doing the same. She had also hunted 2 chaotic creatures during this time. With her combat strength, utilizing the concept of Void Realm Netherworld to achieve In Ruin's Ghost King, along with the 10 million soul banner in hand, even facing an emperor of the realm would result in a one-sided battle. Hunting chaotic creatures was no challenge. The thousand-hand centipede and annual ringworm, once again nourished with food, exuded joyous emotions. Although they couldn't emerge to complete their evolution, their consciousness remained, perceiving everything outside. Do you both want more food? Are you reincarnations of Tao Tai or something? Su Jie sensed the hungry, food emotions transmitted by the thousand-hand centipede, wearing an exasperated expression. This isn't a sustainable method. The longer it takes, the harder the advancement becomes. Han Ruyin furrowed her brows slightly. She and Su Jie, in 6 months, had jointly hunted 5 chaotic creatures. It seemed a fair amount, but for the 2 poisonous insects wanting to fuse with immortal blood, it still felt like a drop in the bucket. We can only take it step by step. If things don't work out, I'll risk attracting creatures using the Kunlun mirror. Su Jie remained silent for a moment before speaking. The Kunlun mirror had an inexplicable attraction to chaotic creatures, as well as to the Crossing Dao Ancestor Master. If the Kunlun mirror's aura is invoked in the Tao River, it's likely to lure the Crossing Dao Ancestor Master. Let's go. Take a 2-day rest first. Patting Han Ruyin's shoulder, hunting chaotic creatures in the Tao River wasn't an easy task, requiring constant divine sense expansion while searching, which quite taxed the spirit. Han Ruyin nodded slightly and walked into the void door opened by Su Jie, returning to the ancient continent. Meanwhile, within the ancient continent, a group of unexpected visitors quietly arrived. On the bustling streets of Delhi City, Great Xia Dynasty, a group of people dressed distinctly from the locals were wandering through the alleys. There were 5 of them, dressed in black and gold brocade robes, with sleeves adorned with tribulation lightning-like patterns. Some appeared to be 27 or 8, others 40 or 50 years old. Shopkeeper, how do you use this thing? In a shop, a middle-aged man, appearing around 40 years old, with a gentle and refined demeanor, picked up a mobile phone from the shelf and asked with a smile. This is called a mobile phone, a core product of the Puppet Bureau. You won't lose out or be deceived by buying it. The shopkeeper's eyes lit up. With the Great Xia Dynasty conquering one small nation after another on the ancient continent, quite a few people from these nations came to Delhi City. Simpletons like this from out of town were the best to deceive. In the shopkeeper's enthusiastic introduction, by the time they left the store, everyone in the group was holding a mobile phone. What the shopkeeper didn't know was that the people he had just marked up the price for hailed from one of the illustrious 5 great holy lands, the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, including the presence of an emperor of the realm. These little gadgets are rather amusing. Having fiddled with the mobile phone for a while, the middle-aged man, known as Emperor Tianshu, chuckled softly. He had been an emperor for a millennium, renowned for refining Tianzhu Mountain. However, with Emperor Tianzhu's vast experience, he was still greatly impressed upon arriving at the ancient continent. Iron horses and iron carts that don't require oxen or horses to pull, mobile phones for communicating across 1,000 miles, 100-meter iron beds running on the sea, and those factories that operate day and night. Emperor Tianzhu had seen puppets. Large magic boats, mechanical city, flying puppets, these things were not uncommon elsewhere, but on any continent such items typically circulate only among cultivators, whereas the ancient continent was different. Here puppet products were accessible to ordinary civilians. Even a simple farmer could use them conveniently, something Emperor Tianzhu had never seen before. Just some useless tricks. Relying on these only mocks the underclass. They are of no benefit to one's cultivation. A young-looking man said disdainfully, although he appeared to be only 27 or 8 years old. His actual age exceeded 8,000 years. He was another great emperor from the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, named Emperor Di Xian, relatively assertive in nature, not as stable as Emperor Tianzhu. The other 3 in the team were Purple Mansion cultivators, who dared not enter the dialogue between the 2 great emperors, merely quietly collecting information based on what they observed. Di Xian, you are being narrow-minded. We didn't come here to clash with Emperor Xing'an. You can say such things to me, but don't say them in front of him. Tianzhu glanced at Di Xian, knowing his colleague's temperament. If the other great emperors were not unwilling to come, he wouldn't want to bring him along. Feeling the underlying warning in Emperor Tianzhu's gaze, Emperor Di Xian pursed his lips and said nothing further. Walking and stopping on the street, The group finally arrived in front of an elegantly decorated residence. As the vermilion door was pushed open, they were greeted by the Ning family sisters, elder sister Ning Yuning and younger sister Ning Xinyue. Uncle Master. Ning Yuning looked at Emperor Tianzhu, seemingly knowing he would visit, appearing well prepared. It's been a while, Yuning and little Yeye. Emperor Tianzhu smiled. As for this holy daughter of the 10,000 tribulations Holy Land, no one within the Holy Land disobeyed. Among the younger generation of geniuses, the 10,000 tribulation saintess unquestionably dominated with unparalleled combat prowess, keeping the holy sons and holy daughters of the other 4 holy lands suppressed. No one could withstand 3 moves from her. Of course, this excluded the recently risen Emperor Xingyuan, who, despite being of the same generation, had stained his hands with the blood of several hollow great emperors. No one considered him amongst the younger generation. Uncle Master, I'm already so old. Why do you still call me that? Ning Xinyue pouted. She and her sister Ning Yuning had entered the 10,000 tribulations Holy Land from a young age, and due to their master's relation with Emperor Tianzhu, being his own sister, Emperor Tianzhu had always been quite caring towards the 2 of them. Uncle Master, everyone come in and have some tea and rest. Ning Yuning invited everyone inside. Soon the gentle aroma of tea wafted through, presenting an atmosphere of harmony. Yuning, I heard the 10,000 dragon pearl is in your possession. Could you possibly show it? After lightly sipping the tea, Emperor Di Xian suddenly spoke, causing a sudden silence in the tea room. The 10,000 dragon pearl is a genuine top-level Dao treasure, a rare find, unmatched by ordinary Dao treasures. Even for hollow great emperors, encountering a top-level Dao treasure would be difficult to resist, especially the renowned 10,000 dragon pearl. Such a treasure, even for a holy land, was a rarity next only to an immortal treasure. If one could obtain it, augmenting combat strength several times would be effortless. Di Xian, are you pretending I don't exist? Tianzhu snorted coldly, setting down his teacup, directing his gaze at Di Xian, finally understanding why Di Xian eagerly took on this undesirable task. He was after the 10,000 dragon pearl. Tianzhu, a top-level Dao treasure like the 10,000 dragon pearl can hardly be utilized by Purple Mansion cultivators. It's not that I covet this top-level Dao treasure, but to speak frankly, a new round of chaotic tide is about to arrive. Enhancing strength as much as possible is what every holy land is doing. Everything must prioritize the greater good. Di Xian's expression was indifferent. He adamantly denied his desire for the 10,000 dragon pearl. Humph, your so-called greater good is just sacrificing our interests. Ning Xinyue couldn't bear it any longer. Glaring angrily at Di Xian, her elder sister obtained the 10,000 dragon pearl. Yet Di Xian wanted to take it with just a few words. If he was capable, why hadn't he entered the ancient continent himself back then? And you have a place to speak here? Di Xian's eyes turned cold. As a dignified great emperor, what standing did Ning Xinyue have to speak to him in such a manner? What, you want to use your power to oppress? Since when did the 10,000 tribulations Holy Land have such rules? Wanting the 10,000 dragon pearl, Tianwu Emperor's active era was less than 1,000 years ago. Why didn't you ask Tianwu Emperor for the 10,000 dragon pearl then? Ning Yuning slammed heavily, pressing the tea cup onto the table with force. She was not known for having a good temper. To rebuke her sister in front of her, even if the opponent was a hollow great emperor, she ridiculed him mercilessly. Di Xian's face immediately darkened. During Tianwu Emperor's active era, he was in the Crossing Realm, wielding the 10,000 dragon pearl and Kunlun mirror. He had a fool's mind to dare ask for the 10,000 dragon pearl. Wouldn't he be hammered into smithereens? Do you have no sense of age hierarchy? As the saintess of the 10,000 tribulations Holy Land, you don't know how to alleviate concerns for the Holy Land at all, really? Di Xian wanted to argue further, when Emperor Tianzhu slapped the table and stood up, his cold gaze saying, Enough, Di Xian. For the sake of the Holy Land, don't force me to act. Do you intend to fight me here? An oppressive aura enveloped the void. The accompanying Purple Mansion cultivators were as silent as cicadas in winter. Di Xian's face showed alternating shades of green and white. Seeing Emperor Tianzhu stubbornly protect Ning Yuning, willing to oppose himself, a hollow great emperor, stoked his inner rage. Tianzhu, you will regret this. Di Xian stood up, tossed this remark, and stormed out. Humph. I am the principal for this visitation. Tianzhu's face was grim, extremely displeased with Di Xian's blatant disrespect. The door trembled, and the other Purple Mansion cultivators quickly rose to take their leave. Hundreds of years unseen, didn't expect Di Xian's temper to grow. He came for this purpose, the 10,000 dragon pearl. Tianzhu sat back down. His sister died in the Tao River, leaving behind Ning Yunying and Ning Xinyue as two direct disciples. He had always taken good care of them, and if he had known Di Xian's character, would never have allowed him to accompany him to the ancient continent. Uncle Master, this has nothing to do with you.
Ning Yunying såg herhead, refilling Emperor Tianzhu's stea.
No organization is monolithic. As long as there are interests, conflicts will arise. Like the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, such a long-established organization also inevitably faces various interest contradictions. Ning Yunying understood this early on, including her ascent to the Holy Daughter position, entangled amidst light and shadow struggles alike. Even hollow great emperors will turn face for interests, though ordinary interests don't move them, such is human nature. Yunying, with your current state, you're not far from advancement, are you? Sipping tea, Emperor Tianzhu casually spoke, pointing out Ning Yunying's condition. Uncle Master saw through me. Recently I have indeed gained some insight. Ning Yunying smiled. She cultivates the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique, known as the foremost cultivation technique in Tianyuan world, with the highest difficulty, requiring one to endure 10,000 tribulations, demanding the cultivator to self-sever realms, repeatedly climbing to re-walk the path of cultivation, constantly facing tribulations. Often over tens of thousands of years one may not find a cultivator. But despite its difficulty, should one manage to cultivate it successfully, combat prowess would be peerless within the same realm, surpassing levels in battle as simple as eating and drinking. There have even been historical instances of top-level hollow great emperors who cultivated this technique, challenging the Crossing Dao ancestor masters, although they died tragically afterward. And Ning Yunying's breakthrough from a hollow great emperor through the cultivation of the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique was not the same as others. She didn't need the arduous task of refining Pocket World, but treated herself as Hollow Realm, because her physical body and divine soul, subjected to repeated self-severing, born of 10,000 tribulations will, was the best natural treasure trove, needing no external aid. All right, with your talent, achieving the Cave Void Realm is a sure thing. My sister, if she knew, would be proud of you from the afterlife. Emperor Tianzhu's face was full of gratified smiles. His sister never married or had children, and only had the Ning family sisters as her two direct disciples, whom she always treated as her own. Therefore, under the love for these associated people, Emperor Tianzhu's attitude towards Ning Yunying was so friendly. Uncle Master, don't forget about me. Sooner or later, I will also be promoted to Emperor Dongshu. Ning Xinyue reminded from the side, raising her chin to show that she was not weak either. Haha, not bad. Emperor Tianzhu just chuckled, not sure if he believed what Ning Xinyue said. After a few casual exchanges, the topic gradually shifted to Emperor Xingyuan. Upon coming to the ancient continent, this was a name that could not be avoided. I heard you are familiar with Emperor Xingyuan. What kind of personality does he have? Is he easy to get along with? Emperor Tianzhu looked at Ning Yunying with an inquisitive gaze, as his main purpose for coming here was Emperor Xingyuan. Uncle Master, you should ask Xinyue about this. That person is her beloved. Ning Yunying smiled with her lips pressed together, revealing a teasing smile, directly exposing this layer of relationship. Oh, is that so? Emperor Tianzhu was taken aback, his eyes quite surprised, not expecting that Ning Xinyue could have gotten together with Emperor Xingyue. Ning Xinyue's pretty face turned red, instinctively retorting, Sister, don't talk nonsense. How is he my beloved? Humph, obviously it's Su Jie who was captivated by my charm and wants to pursue me. But who am I? Even if he is an Emperor Dongshu, I won't agree easily. Oh? Who is the one often talking in their sleep at night, calling out Su Jie, Su Jie? I don't think I heard wrong. Ning Yunying's smile at the corner of her mouth was mischievous and playful. Ning Xinyue's pretty face turned even redder, glaring at her sister who uncovered her secrets, protesting, "You definitely misheard. I don't say such nonsense in my sleep." Upon hearing the sisters' conversation, Emperor Tianzhu pondered. He knew Ning Xinyue's personality, and seeing her blushing cheeks and shifty eyes, it was clear whom to believe. "Little Yeye, tell me about Su Jie." Emperor Tianzhu looked at Ning Xinyue, who was so shy that steam seemed to be coming off her head, and asked kindly, "Him. Usually he is easy to get along with. Don't be misled by his demon cultivator background. As long as you are not an enemy, he treats people very kindly. If you are an enemy, then that's a different story entirely. This can be seen from the thriving development of the Great Xia dynasty. If he had a brutal and unjust personality, the country wouldn't be governed so well, with people living and working in peace and safety." Talking about Su Jie, Ning Xinyue became very animated, giving example after example for several minutes before stopping. She then asked, "Uncle Master, if you're looking for Su Jie, I can help introduce you." "All right, I was thinking the same thing." Emperor Tianzhu readily agreed without another thought and added at the end, "When the time comes, shall I also propose marriage on your behalf? After all, I am considered your elder when it comes to your marriage affairs." "Uncle Master, you are just like sister." Ning Xinyue panicked, her face so red it seemed to be bleeding. "Haha. All right, I won't say any more." Emperor Tianzhu chuckled, stopping the conversation. "Uncle Master, you came to see Su Jie for the matter of the chaotic tide, didn't you?" At this moment, Ning Yunying suddenly spoke up, asking about the matter. Emperor Tianzhu nodded and said, "Can't hide it from you. Indeed, it is about the chaotic tide." Ning Yunying understood and refrained from asking further questions. As for Ning Xinyue, she was still in her embarrassment, not noticing the conversation between the two. The next day, at the entrance of the Great Xia Palace, Emperor Tianzhu, led by the Ning family sisters, smoothly entered the palace. "By the Emperor's order, honored guest, please proceed to Nian Hall for a chat." The guards led the way with twists and turns to an elegant study. As the door opened, a figure sat calmly behind a desk, dressed in casual attire. Su Jie.
Su Jie.
Seeing Su Jie, Ning Xinyue felt a sense of joy inside, but with her elder, Emperor Tianzhu, present, she had to restrain this thought. Pretending to be serious, she said, "This is my uncle master Emperor Tianzhu from the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land." Su Jie's gaze shifted to Emperor Tianzhu, who was also observing Su Jie, the recently renowned emperor. In Emperor Tianzhu's perception, Su Jie gave no impression of a newly appointed emperor's instability. Standing before Su Jie felt like facing a towering mountain emerging from the sea, its peak visible, yet its hidden mass beneath the surface remained immense and unfathomable, imparting a profound sense of depth. This made Emperor Tianzhu's heart skip a beat, silently acknowledging that the person's reputation was likely well earned. "I am Tianzhu. Greetings to Emperor Xingyuan. I apologize for the intrusion, and I hope for your understanding." As the visitor, and knowing Su Jie's strength and renown surpassed his own, Emperor Tianzhu consciously lowered his posture, bowing slightly toward Su Jie. "No matter, I've previously done business with the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, so we are friends in some way." Su Jie's smile was as warm as a spring breeze, speaking in an approachable manner. Emperor Tianzhu knew Su Jie was referring to the Dao treasure deal involving 10,000 Tribulations immortal gold. In his view, their 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land had gained a significant advantage from it. "Haha, indeed. Today I've come, precisely to make another deal with Emperor Xingyuan." Emperor Tianzhu chuckled and followed Su Jie's words to propose his intentions. Su Jie's gaze shifted slightly, not immediately responding, but instead looking at the ground. "The 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land seems not very sincere in doing business. Why is there still a great emperor spying outside? Is this the way to do business?" After speaking, Su Jie slammed his right foot on the ground, unleashing the aura of a great emperor in a booming explosion. The ground beneath Su Jie's feet surged like the sea, with earth dragons rolling and roaring, engulfing the entire scene in a suffocating atmosphere. Swish! In the next moment, the floor of the study cracked open, and a figure flew out in a sorry state. His black and gold robe became tattered, with blood oozing from his 7 orifices, his face pale, looking at Su Jie with some fear. He was none other than Emperor Di Xian from the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. He had refined his hollow into an underground vein, proficient in earth escape techniques. As long as he remained underground without revealing himself, most Void Realm cultivators would not detect him. Originally, he intended to come stealthily to gather information, but unexpectedly, he was exposed by Su Jie upon arrival. Di Xian, why did you follow along? Emperor Tianshu's face turned dark because due to the conflict yesterday, he hadn't notified Di Xian today, not expecting him to sneak along and get caught by Su Jie using such a stealthy way, which made him feel shameful. At the same time, Emperor Tianshu was secretly shocked, as Su Jie's mere stomp not only discovered Emperor Di Xian but also injured him. In his mind, Su Jie's combat power was elevated to a higher level. The mission this time required a partnership of 2 people. You left me alone. Who knows what you're planning? I had to be cautious. Emperor Di Xian gritted his teeth, having been exposed in such a disgraceful manner. His perception of Su Jie had entirely vanished, but he couldn't help it as his opponent's combat power was too strong. Although they were both great emperors of the Hollow Realm, he felt he was not on the same level as Su Jie, who could shock his internal organs and divine soul with a single stomp, forcing him to crawl out from underground, losing all face. Sneaking around, truly disgraceful. Ning Xinyue harbored no favorable opinion of Di Xian, clapped joyfully at Su Jie's actions, feeling he deserved the bitter experience. Let him boast in front of her yesterday. Facing Su Jie, wasn't he just wilted? Lord Di Xian, sneaking around to spy on Emperor Xingyu. Such a petty act will disgrace our 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. Ning Yunying also spoke coldly, sprinkling salt on Emperor Di Xian's wound, mocking his disheveled appearance. Emperor Di Xian's face twitched. Being mocked coldly by 2 juniors filled him with a fiery rage, glaring viciously at the 2 women. What? Do you still want to kill me? Ning Xinyue glared, running to Su Jie's side, pouting and fake crying. Wah! Su Jie. Look, this guy wants to bully me. I'm your friend, you can't just stand by. Su Jie glanced at Ning Xinyue's fake crying, knocked on the table, and stared at Di Xian. An invisible pressure enveloped Emperor Di Xian, the terrifying aura causing gravity to distort, and space to crack inch by inch. Di Xian felt a tremor throughout his body, his bones creaking under the weight. His heart filled with terror, and recalling Su Jie's ruthless means and astonishing record of slaying 5 great emperors, he ultimately backed down. Misunderstanding, Emperor Xingyuan. It's all a misunderstanding. I only wanted to participate in this discussion, without any malice. Emperor Di Xian spoke rapidly, fearful of truly provoking Su Jie to kill, as the name of his 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land wouldn't deter Su Jie, who had simultaneously wiped out several great emperors from the 9 Heavens Holy Land and the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land. His background was utterly useless. Although Emperor Tianshu was extremely dissatisfied with Di Xian, he couldn't just watch Di Xian being killed again. Stepping forward, he said, Emperor Xing'an, Di Xian offended you. Our Holy Land will punish him later, but please calm down for now. Humph. Next time you sneak into the Imperial Palace, watch your life carefully. Su Jie let out a cold snort, his voice resounding like divine thunder in the void, causing the blood around Emperor Di Xian to churn and his internal organs to quake with each beat, fresh blood flowing from his ears. Yet he dared not voice any opposition. The psychological pressure from Su Jie was immense, giving him the illusion of facing the Crossing Dao Ancestor Master. After the misunderstanding was cleared, Emperor Tianshu, to avoid conflict between the 2, hurriedly changed the subject to mention their purpose of visiting Su Jie. Emperor Xingyuan, our 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land has come to visit regarding the chaotic tide. We wish to collaborate with you on this matter. Chaotic tide? It was the first time Su Jie heard the term, somewhat puzzled. Emperor Tianshu understood, as the chaotic tide was always circulated within the 5 great holy lands, unknown to outsiders. The so-called chaotic tide is when the chaotic chi flows in the Tao River surge rapidly, akin to an ocean tsunami, causing the chaotic chi to swell drastically, and the chaotic creatures in the Tao River to become agitated. Each time the chaotic tide erupts, due to the 33 heavens of the Tianyuan world, the coordinates of the Tianyuan world become particularly conspicuous in the Tao River, attracting chaotic creatures to hunt. Relying solely on the 33 heavens is not enough to fully guard against the chaotic creatures. Our Holy Land's Void Realm Emperors will all mobilize to resist the invasion of chaotic creatures. Emperor Tianshu did not conceal anything, explaining the situation of the chaotic tide in detail. The Tianyuan world is everyone's home. If chaotic creatures are allowed to invade, it would be akin to rats entering a grain store. Given the appetite of the chaotic creatures, even if just one managed to enter, it could devour most of the population of the Tianyuan world. Moreover, the Grotto Heavens Hollow World realm has been refined by the Void Realm Emperors from the 5 great holy lands. Their foundations lie here, and given the appetite of the chaotic creatures, these Grotto Heavens would undoubtedly be primary targets, indirectly affecting the Void Realm Emperors. Listening to Emperor Tianshu's explanation, Su Jie couldn't help but feel pleased. He had been worrying about where to hunt chaotic creatures to feed the 2 hungry poisonous insects at home. And now, as if by coincidence, the opportunity presented itself. This so-called chaotic tide, with a large number of chaotic creatures being drawn in, was precisely Su Jie's opportunity. However, on the surface, Su Jie did not show it. Instead, he knocked on the table and asked, "With the heritage of the 5 great holy lands, do you still need my assistance? Moreover, what about the Crossing Dao Ancestor Masters? With their presence, how could anything happen to the Tianyuan world?" Although the 5 great holy lands have strong foundations, the number of chaotic creatures is even greater. Even we must be vigilant, as the continued eruption of the chaotic tide can cause Void Realm Emperors to perish, including those from the Holy Land. Fortunately, the chaotic tide eruption is not a constant occurrence, giving us an opportunity, along with the barrier of the 33 heavens, which has always protected the safety of the Tianyuan world. As for the Crossing Dao Ancestor Masters, they too need to deal with those dangerous Dominator-level chaotic creatures, which are entities on par with the powerful Crossing Dao Ancestor Master. Moreover, these years, the Crossing Dao Ancestors have been delayed by certain matters, preventing them from being able to fully obstruct, often leaving it to us, the Void Realm Emperors, on guard. Emperor Tianshu truly seemed intent on recruiting Su Jie, patiently explaining the situation. Su Jie's eyes gleamed with understanding, and he asked, "I suppose the 5 great holy lands aren't completely united either, right? Have each of you delineated defense zones, recruiting me to enhance your 10,000 tribulations holy land's defensive strength?" Emperor Tianshu gave a bitter smile, saying, "You are correct. The 5 great holy lands each have internal conflicts. We defend according to our respective defense zones and are not easily mixed together to avoid backstabbing and vendettas." Su Jie understood, as each holy land held equal status without jurisdiction over one another. If they defended together, they would have to guard against not only the chaotic creatures but also the Void Realm Emperors of other holy lands. Thus, it was better to fight independently, at least without worrying about getting backstabbed by other holy lands. Emperor Xingyuan, our 10,000 tribulations holy land sincerely invites you, and here is the invitation fee we offer. Emperor Tianshu took out a pile of treasure from his storage bag, the most valuable being a flying sword-shaped Dao treasure. As a member of the Tianyuan world, it is my duty to protect our world and prevent it from being destroyed. Su Jie cheerfully accepted the treasure handed over by Emperor Tianshu, completely forgetting about his own actions of secretly nourishing Blue Star with the spiritual energy of Tianyuan world, and subsequently being rejected and despised by Tianyuan world's heavenly Dao. Happy cooperation! Emperor Tianshu also had a smile on his face. This cooperation went unexpectedly smoothly. He had originally thought persuading Su Jie would be very difficult. Happy cooperation! Su Jie returned the smile. The chaotic tide happened to meet Su Jie's need to feed the poisonous insect, so Su Jie naturally wouldn't pass up the opportunity. Next, both parties discussed the details of the cooperation. After confirming the related matters, Emperor Tianshu gave Su Jie a few inexplicable looks and suddenly said, "I heard Mr. Xing Yuan is familiar with Ye. May I ask about your relationship?" Sure, Shu, stop. Before Emperor Tianshu could finish, Ning Xinyue's face was already flushed with embarrassment, and she hurriedly interrupted his frank words. Ning Yuning gave a knowing smile and explained to Su Jie, "Shu is an elder from our 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, and he's quite concerned about my younger sister's romantic affairs."
Su Jie suddenly understood.
He glanced at Ning Xinyue, whose eyes were evasive, her cheeks flushed, and she dared not make eye contact with him. "Hee, you all catch up, and we'll excuse ourselves first." Emperor Tianshu sensed something from Ning Xinyue's reaction, chuckled, nodded, and then left with Ning Yuning and Emperor Di Xian. Ning Xinyue felt entirely uncomfortable and instinctively wanted to escape by following her sister out. However, as she turned around, footsteps sounded behind her, and Su Jie called out to her, "Maid Ning, what are you afraid of?" Ning Xinyue froze for a moment and instinctively retorted, "Who's afraid? If you're not afraid, why don't you dare look at my eyes? I'm not going to eat you." Su Jie walked up to Ning Xinyue, lifted her chin, and leaned forward. Shwa! Ning Xinyue's pretty face turned as red as blood, biting her pink lips and waving her small fists. "Humph! Afraid of you? This miss will become an immortal and an ancestor in the future. If you... Before Ning Xinyue could finish her words, her bright eyes widened, because her soft lips were sealed. Under Su Jie's advance, Ning Xinyue didn't expect him to be so bold, and awkwardly responded. Her originally angry little face now softened like marshmallow. A moment later, Ning Xinyue pushed Su Jie away, her face flushed like a puffed-up kitten, gritting her teeth. "Su Jie, you're bullying me again." Didn't you just enjoy it very much?" Su Jie pretended to look surprised, provoking Ning Xinyue, whose chest heaved sharply. "Who enjoyed it, obviously. Obviously you forced me." "Eh? Is that so? I was planning to marry you. Is it that I've misunderstood?" Su Jie showed a look of confusion, teasing this proud little girl. Her thoughts were too easy to read. "Ah!" Upon hearing Su Jie said so, Ning Xinyue was stunned. Su Jie's expression of feelings was entirely unexpected, stirring countless emotions within her. "Ah, what? I said I want to marry you." Su Jie wrapped his arm around Ning Xinyue's slim waist, looking at her delicate and beautiful face, speaking clearly and firmly. For someone like Su Jie with such strength and status, nothing in the world could trouble him anymore. Su Jie also intended to be open about his relationship with this tsundere girl Ning Xinyue. You are lying to me again, aren't you?" Ning Xinyue's petite body trembled, and she looked up at Su Jie, suspecting he was teasing her again. "When have I ever lied to you? I know what you're thinking. Don't you know what I'm thinking? Be with me." Su Jie pinched Ning Xinyue's cheek, and unlike his usual teasing tone, Ning Xinyue found her heart was in a flurry, and her heart beat fiercely. I. At the critical moment, Ning Xinyue seemed a bit hesitant, but in the end, under Su Jie's gaze, the sweetness in her heart outweighed her shyness, and she gently hummed in response. This sound wasn't much louder than a mosquito, but it couldn't escape Su Jie's ears. Su Jie smiled, picked up Ning Xinyue, and headed for the harem. "Sorry, I lied to you about one thing just now." Which one? When I said I wouldn't eat you, that was a lie. You, bad guy." While Su Jie and Ning Xinyue were confirming their relationship at the Imperial Palace, Ning Yuning flew alone, arriving at an island in the sea area far from the ancient continent. The island was covered in primitive forests and wilderness, with a rich spiritual energy in the air, making it a rare paradise for cultivation. "This place is nice, it befits your great emperor status, suitable as your burial ground. Don't you think so, Lord Di Xian?" Ning Yuning's voice was calm as she murmured to the seemingly empty environment before her, as if talking to the air. Heh! You lured me here on purpose? In the seemingly empty environment, the ground suddenly bulged, and a figure stepped out. It was none other than Emperor Di Xian. Aren't you here for the 10,000 Dragon Pearl? I created an opportunity for you. Ning Yuning took out the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, a fist-sized pearl with phantom shadows of true dragons swirling around it, emitting a heart-shaking dragon roar. Upon seeing the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, Emperor Di Xian's eyes lit up instantly, but he did not immediately make a move. Instead, he first looked around at his surroundings. Stop looking. My Shishu and Su Jie are not here. Besides us, there's no third person in this forest. As if seeing through Emperor Di Xian's thoughts, Ning Yuning directly spoke up, openly revealing the little thoughts of Emperor Di Xian. The divine sense did not detect any other Void Realm powerhouse's aura. Emperor Di Xian finally felt relieved. If it were Emperor Tianzhu or Su Jie present, especially the latter, he wouldn't dare act recklessly. He had just been terrified by Su Jie and had no doubt that if he provoked Su Jie to take action, Su Jie could suppress him with just one hand. After confirming the environment was safe, Emperor Di Xian's face revealed an uncontrollable greedy smile. Good. It seems you, holy daughter, are quite sensible. As long as you hand over the 10,000 Dragon Pearl to me, I won't pursue past matters. If you want the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, come and get it yourself. Ning Yuning didn't move. Her tone carried an inexplicable provocative meaning. Humph! Emperor Di Xian's face turned cold and he directly reached out to snatch it. As long as he got the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, even if Ning Yuning went back to 10,000 Tribulation's Holy Land to complain afterwards, it would be useless. Once in his possession, there was no reason to return it. However, Emperor Di Xian's extended big hand suddenly encountered an invisible energy barrier when it was half a meter away from the 10,000 Dragon Pearl. This energy barrier wasn't coming from the 10,000 Dragon Pearl itself but from Ning Yuning. Emperor Di Xian's face suddenly changed because a pressure field surged from Ning Yuning as if the entire world was pressing down. Void Realm, when did you advance to the Void Realm? No, this isn't Void Realm. Emperor Di Xian's face flashed a touch of panic, but he quickly realized that although this aura was strong, it was far from reaching the critical point of a Void Realm Emperor. At most, it bore some resemblance. Not now, but killing you will do. Ning Yuning said calmly, her jade hand striking horizontally, causing the void to collapse inch by inch, and a void-shattering handprint emerged, crashing down directly. Boom! The earth trembled violently, the island shook and collapsed, directly smashed to pieces by a palm, with seawater merging in from all directions. Jia ha ha ha! Do you want to rely on the pressure of a deadly battle to break through the Void Realm, using me as a whetstone? Who do you think you are? Emperor Di Xian appeared in the sky dome at some point, with a mocking expression on his face. He had already seen through Ning Yuning's tactic and directly clasped his hands together. Mountain Vein Divine Burial. The moment the words fell, the Tao River ripped open, revealing a phantom of an extended or vein behind Emperor Di Xian. The vein stretched hundreds of miles, resembling a giant python, and directly crushed towards Ning Yuning. 10,000 dragons! Ning Yuning remained unflustered, raising her left hand and tossing the 10,000 Dragon Pearl. The 10,000 Dragon Pearl rotated in the void, with one after another scale armor, like steel-cast true dragons roaring out, continuously hitting Emperor Di Xian's Void Divine or causing the ground to shake. Being a top-level Dao treasure, even though Ning Yuning wasn't able to wield its full power, relying solely on the 10,000 Dragon Pearl's inherent strength could injure or even suppress an emperor. Courting death. Seeing the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, Emperor Di Xian wanted a swift battle, transforming himself into a rainbow light and directly charged at Ning Yuning. Lacking a Dao treasure in his hand, his own crafted Dao treasure had accidentally been damaged in the Tao River. Thus he desperately wanted a new Dao treasure and set his sights on the 10,000 Dragon Pearl. Ning Yuning charged forward, without any hesitation. The two sides collided instantly, directly competing in pure close combat capabilities. Upon contact, Emperor Di Xian's complexion slightly changed because, with his Void Realm physical body strength, he couldn't crush Ning Yunying. In terms of strength, both sides were evenly matched. He at most held a slight advantage, but this advantage couldn't be turned into victory. Moreover, what made his heart beat faster in alarm was that as the battle endured, Ning Yunying's aura grew more intense, and her strength continued to rise. Ning Yunying practiced the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique, which required tribulations to give birth. Transitioning from the Purple Mansion to Void Realm also required hardships, especially major ones. Obviously, Emperor Di Xian was whom Ning Yunying chose as her tribulation. She intended to use Emperor Di Xian's Great Tribulation as leverage to achieve the status of Void Realm Emperor. The longer the battle went, the more unsettled Emperor Di Xian became. He directly summoned his Dharma aspect, revealing a fierce Baifeng divine bird that flew towards Ning Yunying in approach. Tao Tai. Ning Yunying was not one to fall behind, also summoning her Dharma aspect. Normally, there is a disparity in size and power between Void Realm and Purple Mansion Dharma aspects, but Ning Yunying's Tao Tai Dharma aspect was unique, characterized by its ability to devour all, strengthening itself through consuming other Dharma aspects. Thus, the struggle between Tao Tai and Baifeng Dharma aspects extended from the earthly realm into the Tao River. Even Emperor Di Xian, a Void Realm Emperor, couldn't gain the upper hand over Ning Yunying, leaving the battle in a stalemate. Just when Di Xian felt things were getting tricky, Ning Yunying suddenly froze, pausing for a fleeting moment during their fight. In battles among powerhouses, every millisecond counts, and any slight mistake can be fatal. Although Emperor Di Xian wasn't aware of why Ning Yunying behaved so, he wouldn't let the opportunity pass. He broke through the defense with a punch and struck Ning Yunying directly. This punch was heavy and powerful, sending Ning Yunying crashing into the sea. The ocean surface lifted into monstrous waves, clearing 100,000 meters of seawater to expose the seabed below. Ning Yunying let out a muffled groan, fresh blood trickling from her mouth, her face looking somewhat peculiar although she was amid battle, because just a moment ago, her body suddenly experienced an anomaly, with waves of unusual sensations bubbling up unexpectedly within her. That feeling caused her to momentarily lose herself, giving Emperor Di Xian the chance. It had to be now. Ning Yunying's expression was odd, now understanding the problem. Being soulbound twins, she and Ning Yunying, since childhood, shared a spiritual connection. Often, whatever one sibling experienced physically, the other sibling would mirror empathetically. She hadn't anticipated her sister's fast progress with Su Jie, causing such a situation during a fierce battle. That bastard, really? Ning Yunying was speechless, forcefully ignoring the numbing sensation plaguing her body. Haha, having physical issues. Do you truly think you, just a Purple Mansion, can reverse and overcome the Void Realm? Emperor Di Xian descended menacingly, eager to seize the advantage and take down Ning Yunying. You guessed right, indeed my body has issues, but that's the pressure needed. Crossing such a tribulation will lead to endless opportunities. Ning Yunying wiped away the blood from her mouth, unwaveringly facing the charging Emperor Di Xian. Their clash roiled the sea like a boiling pot, causing enormous tsunamis and volcanic eruptions from the seabed. The fight carried on for hours, until injuries began to appear on both sides. But overall, Ning Yunying's injuries were more severe, with multiple deep and minor wounds, some visible to the bone, others with damaged internal organs. Such grave injuries would be fatal even with 10 lives for an average person, yet Ning Yunying fought more energetically. Her physical body and soul were undergoing a subtle transformation, achieving a hint of the Void Realm's ambience. Especially her shining, brilliant eyes, like stars at the end of the sky dome, with each cell absorbing the chaotic chi flow from the Tao River. The tribulation pressure from Emperor Di Xian finally helps Ning Yunying reach her life's most crucial advancement, growing visibly stronger. Emperor Di Xian's eyes displayed fear, never imagining that he, a Void Realm Emperor, couldn't defeat Ning Yunying, a Purple Mansion peak cultivator. and had become her stepping stone for advancement. Now Ning Yuning could rival him, and once she reached the Void Realm, his fate could end in being suppressed by her. Having thoroughly antagonized Ning Yuning, their relationship couldn't be reconciled. Only life or death remained. Understanding so, Emperor Di Xian's gaze hardened. Without hesitation, he burnt half his soul. In Ning Yuning's critical advancement moment, the Bai Fong Dharma aspect morphing into a flying sword aimed at Ning Yuning's forehead. He's risking his divine soul's demise to kill Ning Yuning with a single strike. Ning Yuning reacted, but at her critical advancement moment, her thoughts were immersed in the internal breakthrough, delaying her response. Even if the sword pierced her, she would either fail in advancement or damage her foundation. Yet, at the soul-bound sword's imminent contact, the void seemingly stagnated momentarily. The sword froze in mid-air, and the ocean ceased its waves. Fighting and killing right outside my home. Sister-in-law, what's this all about? With the voice came a figure descending from high altitude, pausing the fiercely brutal battle. Sister-in-law? Hearing Su Jie's words, Ning Yuning, who appeared here, associated them with the intense battle earlier and the forcibly suppressed thrill, and felt speechless inside. Emperor Xingyuan, what do you intend to do? Having his lethal strike blocked, Emperor Di Xian was so furious he spat blood. If he weren't outmatched, he would have torn Su Jie apart with his bare hands. Can't you hear how I address her? Su Jie's lips curled into a smirk, and he looked at Emperor Di Xian as if he were a dead man. This is an internal matter of our 10,000 tribulations holy land. Please do not intervene. Emperor Di Xian's expression grew increasingly grim, and he deeply regretted his earlier delay, which had prolonged the battle and attracted Su Jie, this formidable Buddha. Su Jie's relationship with Ning Yuning had also exceeded his expectations. When did they become so close? It seems you don't understand me at all. For a demon cultivator, helping one's kin over reason is all too normal, Su Jie said with a playful glint in his eyes as he took sides. Emperor Di Xian's face twitched, and he breathed heavily, his eyes bloodshot. This bastard Su Jie had no intention of reasoning. You struck my sister-in-law. If I don't do something, Maid Ning will surely give me an earful later. Su Jie rubbed his fists and walked toward Emperor Di Xian. With every step he took, the vast void trembled. Chaotic chi flows burst into disorder like a waterfall, and the pressure grew increasingly intense. Emperor Di Xian's face turned pale. He seemed to see his Death Star twinkling, and just the aura emanating from Su Jie was enough to leave him breathless. Su Jie, leave this person to me. But just as Su Jie was about to finish off Emperor Di Xian, Ning Yuning's voice came from behind. Su Jie turned his head to see Ning Yuning nearing her final transformation, about to achieve the cave void realm. He is my tribulation. I must see him off myself. Ning Yuning locked eyes with Su Jie, her personality being such that even though there was an easier way, she knew that Su Jie could effortlessly crush Emperor Di Xian. She ultimately preferred to handle it herself, as this was her pride. Su Jie understood Ning Yuning's intention and said, "As you wish." Meanwhile, Emperor Di Xian had already started fleeing, cursing as he ran. Two colluding bastards. With Su Jie present, he held no chance of winning. Fleeing now still left a sliver of hope for survival. Staying meant certain death. Emperor Di Xian dove into the ocean, confident in his ability to escape. Among the cave void emperors, he believed none could outpace him in fleeing. As long as he burrowed into the seabed and used the earth escape technique, he could seek life from death. Turning back, Su Jie gazed at the frantically fleeing Emperor Di Xian, his expression unruffled. A miniature blue star circling Su Jie appeared behind him as a giant hand reached out. As the hand extended, its flesh and tendons turned into mountain folds, bones into iron-gold veins, blood into the roaring Yangtze River, shrouded in chaotic chi flows. The hand grew larger and larger, spanning 10, 100, 1,000 miles, covering both heaven and earth. Feeling the fierce roaring behind him, Emperor Di Xian couldn't help but look back. Through layers of seawater, His pupils shrunk to needlepoints and his blood nearly froze in fear, enveloped by terror. Because an overwhelming giant hand was grasping toward him with unstoppable force. He couldn't tell how large the hand was, smashing through clouds, shaking the void. The sea, thousands of meters deep, was like a small pond in its presence, reaching directly into the ocean in a manner beyond Emperor Di Xian's comprehension.
No!
Emperor Di Xian's eyes widened in terror. He used every ounce of strength, but couldn't escape the cover of this overwhelming hand. Like picking up a little bug, the giant hand plunged into the ocean, indiscriminately grabbing Emperor Di Xian from the depths. Rumble! The sea shook violently. Billions of tons of seawater mixed with sand and mud fell from between the fingers like a heavenly waterfall. The sea area, stretching for 1,000 miles, was left empty, leaving a huge hollow in the seabed. Countless marine creatures were caught in the giant hand, then slammed back into the sea with the water. From high above, it seemed as if someone had suddenly taken a bite out of the sea, missing a large portion of water, causing a visible tsunami to form as water rushed in from all directions. Still, a heavenly tone descended, quelling the tsunami that was supposed to ravage the coastal areas of the ancient continent, calming the sea instantly. What a joke! Emperor Di Xian found himself in the palm of Su Jie's hand, like Sun Monkey in the Buddha's palm, his features twisted in a desperate bid to unleash all sorts of attacks to escape. But to his despair, no matter how he struggled and resisted, he couldn't budge an inch. The imprisoning giant hand emitted a special high-intensity gravitational wave, causing matter to condense and compress strongly. Despite his utmost efforts, he could only barely scratch an itch. When Emperor Di Xian couldn't help but look at Su Jie, through Su Jie's imposing aura, in his eyes, Su Jie was no longer human. He was clearly a giant, standing 80,000 miles tall, head touching the sky, feet planted on the earth, inhaling and exhaling chaotic chi flows, with muscles bulging like mountains. Just witnessing Su Jie's cave void form made Emperor Di Xian feel like he had lost all bones, collapsing into a heap, despairingly murmuring, "How is it possible? We're both cave void emperors. Why are you so strong?" At this moment, only one question lingered in Emperor Di Xian's mind. Though all had refined their grotto heaven to achieve the status of a great emperor, why was the disparity between them as vast as the clouds and the mud on the ground? Especially Su Jie's grotto heaven. It was something he had neither seen nor heard of before. His own knowledge did not include such an enormous grotto heaven in the Tianyuan world that could be refined. An image of a towering giant, 8,000 miles tall, was simply astonishing. The typical emperor's grotto heaven was usually only a few hundred miles in size. For instance, Emperor Di Xian's was just over 1,000 miles at its strongest. But 8,000 miles? Not only had he never seen it, he had never even heard of it. What kind of grotto heaven is this? Emperor Di Xian knew there was a significant gap between him and Su Jie, but he hadn't expected it to be this immense. Su Jie glanced down, speaking indifferently. "This grotto heaven is called Blue Star," a name that Emperor Di Xian had never heard emerged from Su Jie's lips. The reason Su Jie could suppress him with just one blow was naturally due to the Blue Star. Blue Star had an equatorial circumference of 40,075 kilometers, precisely corresponding to Su Jie's sky-reaching 8,000-mile-tall giant grotto heaven image. It could be said that Su Jie had surpassed the level of the Cave Void Emperor and was now sprinting towards the true spirit of the Crossing Dao ancestor. The only targets worthy of Su Jie were those standing at the pinnacle of the world, the Crossing Dao ancestors. Ning Yuning also witnessed Su Jie's astonishing transformation, and the overwhelming presence made her heart race. However, the priority now was to first break through to the cave void. With Su Jie's presence, Ning Yuning steadied her mind without distraction from battle, focusing all her attention on her breakthrough. Her ascent rapidly accelerated. All of a sudden, from the 36,000 pores around Ning Yuning's body, a massive influx of chaotic qi began to merge with her, giving her body a faintly illusory state. Due to cultivating the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique, Ning Yuning used her own body as the grotto heaven, her physical form gathering the power of heaven and earth. She did not need to draw merit from the heavenly Tao of the Tianyuan world, but instead accomplished a small world within herself, similar in some ways to Han Ruyan. Su Jie, stroking his chin, observed Ning Yuning's breakthrough process. Su Jie's method of breaking through to the K-Void realm was quite traditional. Although he didn't achieve the status of a K-Void emperor within the Tianyuan world, the essence was the same, relying on heavenly Tao fortune to refine a pocket world into a grotto heaven. Ning Yuning's way was unconventional. Within just a few minutes, as the incoming chaotic qi reached a critical point, a profound transformation occurred quietly deep in Ning Yuning's body, with each cell emerging like long dormant insects breaking free and transforming into butterflies. It was as though she had broken free from some restraint and heavy burden, completing one of the most crucial metamorphoses of her life. Gradually opening her bright eyes, Ning Yuning gently raised her arm, as chaotic qi, like tame spirits, swirled around her palm. With each breath, spiritual energy danced back like swallows returning to their nests. So, this is the K-Void realm. Ning Yuning's lips curled into a pure and radiant smile, her life force shining like the sun, her injuries healing rapidly. At this moment, Ning Yuning truly felt the reality of the world, measuring the traces of the wind, savoring the freshness of Ganlu, and experiencing the subtle Miao method of the world. This was a metamorphosis of the life level, distinguishing humans from the heavens and the earth. Congratulations, sister-in-law. Su Jie's voice brought Ning Yuning back from the wondrous sensation of her breakthrough. Thank you. Ning Yuning expressed her gratitude, casting her gaze towards Su Jie. Before breaking through to the K-Void realm, she once looked up to Su Jie as if admiring the bright moon. Now, having advanced to the K-Void realm, she saw Su Jie as if she were a mayfly observing the azure sky, and the gap had not closed at all. In her vision, Su Jie seemed like the sky dome itself, or the endpoint of dimensions, with everything revolving around the 8,000-mile body. Spiritual energy surged before him as if in pilgrimage, and chaotic qi danced for him. Unbeknownst to Ning Yuning, Su Jie's divine soul was imprinted with 10% of the Tao divine patterns, evolving towards the true spirit possessed only by the crossing Tao ancestors, marking a fundamental difference from the K-Void realm. Shaking her head, Ning Yuning decided not to dwell further, turning her eyes to Su Jie's grasp on Emperor Di Xian. Su Jie understood Ning Yuning's intention, smiling as he retracted his sky-covering hand, allowing the two to settle their grievances themselves. Ning Yuning's figure flickered, appearing before Emperor Di Xian. Lord Di Xian, it's been a while. Ning Yuning's gaze was cold and focused on Emperor Di Xian. Although only a few minutes had passed, it felt like she had experienced a long stretch of time, preparing to confront Emperor Di Xian with genuine K-Void power. Emperor Di Xian's face was ashen, unmoving. He was acutely aware that even if he managed to pass Ning Yuning, he could never be a match for Su Jie. Any struggle would be in vain. Seeing Di Xian's lack of fighting intent, Ning Yuning spoke, "I can give you a promise. If you can defeat me, I will let you go." Hearing this, Emperor Di Xian's spirits lifted immediately. He first looked not at Ning Yuning, but at Su Jie because, in his mind, Su Jie was the true decision-maker. "All right." Su Jie chuckled, watching the two with interest. "Then die." Seeing Su Jie's reaction, Emperor Di Xian's eyes turned cold as he launched a fierce attack on Ning Yuning, using his fists to carve his path to survival. Ning Yuning chose not to use the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, a top-level Tao treasure, opting instead to rely on her own strength, gently meeting his iron fists with her delicate hands. Crack! The sharp sound of bone breaking echoed as Emperor Di Xian's whole body was blasted away, crashing heavily onto the sea surface. His right arm twisted like a pretzel. "Damn it! Why do you all force me?" Emperor Di Xian's eyes were filled with ferocity and agony, teetering on the brink of madness. Encountering Su Jie, currently the leading figure of the K-Void, was one thing. He could accept not being able to defeat him. But to immediately face Ning Yuning, a newly ascended K-Void emperor who cultivated the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique, was another. The 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique was reputed as the foremost miraculous technique in the Tianyuan world. An emperor who mastered it could challenge the crossing Tao ancestors, and whether in physicality or treasure technique Taoist skill, they were unmatched in the same realm. Ning Yunying, having just broken through to the cave void realm, was unexpectedly able to overpower him, an old guard cave void emperor who had cultivated for thousands of years. Upon engaging with her, Emperor Di Xian realized the rumors were true. He was truly down on his luck. This was all your own doing. As Ning Yunying's voice reached him, the void quaked and shattered, and the surrounding sea water sank 10,000 meters to form a fist-shaped indentation. Ning Yunying's snow-white fist tore through the sky, striking at Emperor Di Xian's forehead. Roar! Already gravely injured, Emperor Di Xian's eyes widened as he raised his hands to defend, but his arms disintegrated into pulp. His head was struck by a fist, exploding like a watermelon, sending brain matter flying into the sky. An era of the Cave Void Emperor ended with his demise. Had he been in full health, he might have been able to exchange a few moves with Ning Yunying. But in his current state, facing Ning Yunying, who could claim supremacy among Cave Void Emperors, he stood no chance. Ning Yunying exhaled softly, feeling the intense surge of spiritual power within her. Having overcome this catastrophic hurdle, her state of mind once again ascended. Clap, clap, clap. The sound of applause arose, Su Jie clapping his hands and raising a thumb in admiration. Amazing, amazing, truly deserving of being a sister-in-law. Your combat prowess far exceeds Maid Ning. Are you really twins? Though born of the same mother, the disparity in strength between the sisters was rather excessive. Hearing Su Jie's words, Ning Yunying recalled the peculiar thrill during the heated battle earlier, her pretty face blushing slightly. Unconsciously, she cast a sidelong glance at Su Jie. Our hearts are linked, as twins should be. Do you not know that by now? Su Jie was somewhat puzzled by Ning Yunying's reaction. Linked hearts, indeed. It seems Maid Ning sensed your crisis, so she called me over. Could it be that you can also feel Maid Ning's? Gazing at Ning Yunying, Su Jie suddenly understood, a strange look in his eyes. From Ning Xinyue, Su Jie remembered an interesting notion. Perhaps this telepathic connection could respond even across thousands of miles. Stop! Don't let your mind wander. Ning Yunying's lips twitched, feeling as if ants were crawling over her skin, feeling completely at ease under Su Jie's gaze. Moreover, call me by my name, not sister-in-law. Ning Yunying corrected him, unsure why hearing Su Jie call her by that title made her bones tingle and brought to mind terrible images. Su Jie. All right, sister-in-law.
Ning Yunying.
As Su Jie and Ning Yunying had yet to leave the battlefield, where Di Xian died, the space suddenly underwent a strange change. Threads of aura from Di Xian's corpse entered the Tao River that vanished into the void, seemingly transmitting some information. This change did not escape Su Jie's notice. Turning his head, Ning Yunying explained, the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land probably already knows about Di Xian's death. I need to return to the Holy Land. Now?
Suye Seyebrov sliktly arthed.
Ning Yunying nodded slightly, explaining, no matter what, I was the one who killed him. Both emotionally and rationally I wouldn't choose to escape. Speaking, Ning Yunying again advised Su Jie. Take care of my sister. Make sure not to bully her. Your words sound like entrusting a child. Do you need me to accompany you?
Suye shrugged his shoulder, suggesting.
No need. I can handle it myself. Ning Yunying shook her head, refused Su Jie's goodwill, and finally put away Emperor Di Xian's corpse, tore through the Tao River, and headed toward the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. Truly stubborn. Su Jie watched Ning Yunying's disappearing figure, vaguely feeling that Ning Yunying might not easily resolve this matter. After all, it was an Emperor Dongshu who died.
10,000 Tribulations Holy Land.
The 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, also situated amidst the sea area. Its iconic feature is the towering peaks nestled against the clouds, rising steeply from the ground. Hundreds of peaks form the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. Every peak is a treasure land hard to find outside, where the richness of spiritual energy far surpasses the continent of the outside world. Among these hundreds of peaks, one peak is the most majestic and distinctive, towering 10,000 yards high, reaching up to the 33 heavens above the sky dome, every moment battered by heavenly thunder upon the mountain body, like a divine mountain supporting the spine of the world. This is the 10,000 Tribulations Mountain, also the secluded place of Emperor Dongshu's retreat. The soul lamp, Emperor Di Xian's soul lamp extinguished. Along with the Holy Land disciples' fearful shout, a profound aura awakened. Di Xian is dead? A middle-aged man, clad in a golden emperor's dragon robe, possessing the aura of a dragon, and intimidating as the sea, wore a cold expression. He is called Emperor Wanfa, the strongest force in the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land besides crossing Dao Ancestor Master, having achieved emperor status for 6,000 years, surpassing the lifespan limit of ordinary Emperor Dongshu, living through a second lifetime. Inform all emperors. Gather in the heavenly tribulation hall for a meeting. Emperor Wanfa's gaze was deep, and each disciple and manager hurriedly complied. Moments later, 9 Emperor Dongshu emerged from their secluded dwellings, gathered in the heavenly tribulation hall, each one exuding a fierce aura, with an atmosphere exceptionally oppressive. For the Holy Land, the death of an Emperor Dongshu is a significant event, necessitating collective discussion by everyone. Report: Saintess Ning returned, requesting an audience with the gentleman, having urgent matters to discuss, saying, "It concerns Emperor Di Xian." A group of Emperor Dongshu at the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land had yet to reach a conclusion, when a manager hurriedly entered, reporting the news from outside. "Let her in." Emperor Wanfa sat high on a chair, eyes slightly moving. His aura grew even more alarming. With a brilliant light arriving at the heavenly tribulation hall, abruptly halting upon proximity, a tall woman with snow-white skin, bright and poised features, and a cool demeanor appeared. She was Ning Yunying returning from the ancient continent. Swish! Pairs of eyes cast from all around, with imperial pressure akin to a tidal wave. Any ordinary person here would find it impossible to stand up. Ning Yunying walked step by step into the heavenly tribulation hall, knowing well each Emperor Dongshu present, as the Holy Daughter. "Saintess Ning, tell us all the information you know. Who exactly killed my brother? I shall see him torn limb from limb." A Dongshu Great Emperor, standing over 2 meters tall, clad in black battle armor, spoke first, eyes full of killing intent. "This is Emperor Qi Yan, sworn brother of Emperor Di Xian, with the closest relationship to Emperor Di Xian. Regarding the matter of Di Xian, I am indeed aware." Ning Yunying's face bore no change. Facing the intense gaze of each Emperor Dongshu, she maintained her psychological calmness. "How did Di Xian die?" Emperor Wanfa sat at the host position, his every breath inciting the thunderous roar of 10,000 Tribulations Mountain, his voice resembling rolling heavenly thunder. Ning Yunying did not speak, merely took out Di Xian's corpse from the storage bag. Boom! With Di Xian's headless body appearing in the heavenly tribulation hall, the temperature within dropped to freezing. "Di Xuan." Emperor Qi Yan's voice was mournful, pupils dilating sharply. Even though the brother lost his head and arms, he instantly recognized it was Emperor Di Xian's corpse. Emperor Wanfa's gaze was indifferent. Upon seeing Di Xian's headless corpse, he asked, "Was it Emperor Xingyuan from the ancient continent?" He instinctively assumed that Su Jie killed him, as Di Xian went to the ancient continent during his outing, and was brought back only as a corpse. Combined with Su Jie's illustrious martial record, slaughtering many emperors of the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land and 9 Heavens Holy Land, he intuitively believed it was Su Jie's doing, and Su Jie's strength was entirely capable of accomplishing this easily. "Ah, Xingyuan, I want his life for a life." Emperor Qi Yan's rage was furious, eyes seeming to devour someone. "Saintess Ning, speak up. How exactly did Di Xian die? We can't let Di Xian die this inexplicably. Where is Tianshu? He went out with Di Xian. Why have you returned alone?" Other Emperor Dongshu also spoke up one after another. Perhaps they have no close relationship with Di Xian, but as part of the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, Emperor Di Xian's mysterious death concerns the dignity of their Holy Land, needing a thorough investigation. Everyone, Su Jie, the Emperor Xingyuan, is not involved. The person was killed by me. Under the gaze of many Emperor Dongshu, Ning Yunying slowly spoke and revealed the truth. When these words were spoken, the scene was as if a great silence technique had been cast, and everyone fell silent. Eyes full of disbelief were focused on Ning Yunying, and some even doubted whether they had heard incorrectly. You did it. Emperor Wanfa was stunned upon hearing this, then seemed to understand something, squinting slightly. You have advanced to Hollow Realm? Unless Ning Yunying advanced to the Cave Void Realm, it would have been impossible to kill Emperor Di Xian. The strength simply wouldn't allow it. Ning Yunying nodded slightly, recounting the events. Di Xian attempted to seize the 10,000 Dragon Pearl from me. I advanced to the Cave Void Realm and killed him. This has nothing to do with Su Jie. It was all my doing. While speaking, Ning Yunying intentionally released the hollow aura, proving the truth of her words. Among the Emperor Dongshu surrounding her, some were astonished, some surprised, some impressed, and some shook their heads. Ning Yunying advanced to the Cave Void Realm, killed Emperor Dongshu, and dared to return to the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land to confront them directly. Regardless of anything else, merely this level of mental fortitude and courage is not something ordinary people possess. Bang! A cold, piercing killing intent swept in, accompanied by the distorted space created by a fist wind, and Emperor Qi Yan's fist had already roared in. Wretch! Return my brother's life! Emperor Qi Yan roared, his eyes spewing fire, intending to kill Ning Yunying. Bang! Ning Yunying raised her left hand, using her palm to meet the fist, and they collided. Ning Yunying remained steady in place, while the attacking Emperor Qi Yan staggered back 7 or 8 steps, his fist arm trembling, clearly falling into a disadvantage. This scene shocked the many Emperor Dongshu present, realizing that the strength bestowed by cultivating the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique was indeed formidable. Presumptuous! A cold snort rang out with Emperor Wanfa suddenly speaking, his presence sweeping the hall like heavenly might, causing the hearts of the emperors to tremble. Ning Yunying grunted softly, as if mountains weighed upon her, but she lifted her head defiantly, meeting Emperor Wanfa's gaze, saying, Wanfa, what do you mean? Do you not even know your guilt? Emperor Wanfa's gaze was cold and did not choose to stand with Ning Yunying, but instead accused her. This reaction drew strange looks from the surrounding Emperor Dongshu. Ning Yunying's promotion to Cave Void was significant. If she broke through the Cave Void with the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique, she would naturally be among the top level of Emperor Dongshu, her status and strength surpassing most of them. By comparison, if Ning Yunying's words were true and Emperor Di Xian had tried to seize the 10,000 Dragon Pearl and was killed in retaliation, then the blame couldn't be placed on Ning Yunying. Accusez-me? How am I guilty? Ning Yunying stood her ground, not yielding, even though Emperor Wanfa was the strongest beside the Crossing Dao Ancestor Master at the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. You ignored the sex bonds, killing its emperor, and that is a crime. Emperor Wanfa looked at the defiant Ning Yunying, slowly standing, as his pressure grew stronger, saying, Considering your holy daughter status, hand over the 10,000 Dragon Pearl and go to Segoya to meditate for 1,000 years. Wanfa, don't let her off so easily. I want her life as retribution. Emperor Qi Yan shouted angrily, feeling his dignity was lost after their exchange, and his gaze towards Ning Yunying was openly murderous, unwilling to let her go easily. That's enough. We are all sect members. There's no need for internal slaughter, but responsibility must be taken, and necessary punishment must be administered. Emperor Wanfa spoke softly, stopping Emperor Qi Yan, and advised Ning Yunying, go to Segoya yourself. When you've reflected and admitted your fault, apologize to Emperor Qi Yan, and this matter can be put to rest. Emperor Wanfa's demeanor appeared as if he was doing this for Ning Yunying's sake. However, upon hearing this, Ning Yunying merely scoffed coldly, saying, Stop pretending. You're just after the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, afraid I might threaten your position. Hypocritical and laughable. It's disgusting. When Emperor Wanfa asked her to hand over the 10,000 dragon pearl, Ning Yuning had already seen through his true intentions. Emperor Wanfa's expression darkened and said, "You not only fail to recognize your fault, but also engage in unruly argument. Do you realize you're part of the Holy Land?" Indeed, he wanted the 10,000 dragon pearl, a top-level Dao treasure crafted by Emperor Tianwu. It was once powerful in Tianyuan world, and countless Emperor Dongshu coveted it. Furthermore, Emperor Wanfa had begun using Dharma form to refine Tao divine patterns, transitioning towards true spirit, which needed immortal treasures. Yet the immortal treasures are with the crossing Dao ancestor master, whose usage is limited. With Ning Yuning's rapid development, by then they might be out of his reach, and this was the main reason for Emperor Wanfa targeting Ning Yuning. One mountain cannot contain two tigers. He lacked confidence in himself and sought to use this opportunity to first push aside Ning Yuning, his competitor. If the Holy Land is like this, then I have no reason to respect it. Faced with the moral high ground accusations from 10,000 Law's Holy Land, Ning Yuning chose to confront them head-on, refusing to retreat an inch. Bold! Emperor Wanfa erupted in anger, fully unleashing his aura, pressing upon Ning Yuning like towering mountains, attempting to force her to kneel. Ning Yuning's icy skin and jade bones trembled, a resounding dragon chant emanating from within her body, as true dragon phantasms encircled her, the power of the 10,000 dragon pearl beginning to awaken. Dare to resist! Emperor Wanfa's fury intensified, shouting, "All of you, capture this villain." Upon hearing this, some Emperor Dongshu were unmoved, but Emperor Wanfa's followers, including Emperor Qi Yan, moved immediately, surrounding Ning Yuning. Ning Yuning clenched her fist, raising the 10,000 dragon pearl in her right hand, directly striking an Emperor Dongshu. Bang! The 10,000 dragon pearl, paired with Ning Yuning's combat prowess, forced the Emperor Dongshu to retreat repeatedly. Her power to dominate within the same realm was not exaggerated, especially with the 10,000 dragon pearl in hand. All together, Emperor Qi Yan roared ferociously, charging towards Ning Yuning, who was surrounded by true dragons, wielding a Dao treasure. The intense battle erupted in an instant, heading towards an unforeseen situation. Rumble! The heavenly tribulation hall was torn apart by the shockwaves of several emperor battles, and the aftermath surged across the wilderness, causing waves that continued endlessly, mountains trembling and collapsing, the world losing color. Each disciple of the 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land was shocked to find that the Holy Land, peaceful for tens of thousands of years, erupted in fierce battle, and the combatants were their own people. Bring her into the Tao River! Witnessing the aftermath raging within the Holy Land, an Emperor Dongshu shouted, seeing them fight tumultuously at their sect, damaging their own environment. With intentions from both sides, the battle moved from 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land's mountain gate to the Tao River. The fierce fighting caused the void to tremble continuously, drawing attention from everyone in 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land. As the battle continued, Ning Yuning's combat abilities were incredibly strong, able to fight evenly against several emperors, not falling behind. Though not all Emperor Dongshu joined the fray, only 3 emperors, including Emperor Qi Yan, it was enough to prove Ning Yuning's fearsome strength. Barely promoted to K-Void yet able to withstand 3 Emperor Dongshu. However, the situation changed when Emperor Wanfa joined the battle. Being a top Emperor Dongshu, beginning to refine Tao divine patterns, Emperor Wanfa's combat prowess far exceeded other hollows. Emperor Wanfa wielded a black and white yin-yang Dao bell, a top-level Dao treasure as well. Upon joining the battle, in just a few rounds, collaborating with the other Emperor Dongshu's attacks, the bell's sound turned into thousands of treasure techniques shining brightly, pressing on Ning Yuning's head. Bang! Even with the 10,000 dragon pearl, Ning Yuning's jade body was shaken, blood trickling from her lips, falling from the Tao River to the present world. Holy daughter, do you realize your mistake now? If you sincerely repent, we are willing to give you a chance to reform. Do not lead yourself astray. Emperor Wanfa looked down from above, the yin-yang Dao bell suspended atop him, strands of chaotic chi flow hanging down. Treasure techniques swirled around him, forming natural disasters of wind, fire, and thunder. As if he were the heavenly emperor mastering all laws, his might was astounding. It's nothing more than finding an excuse to attack for your own benefit. Don't pretend to be righteous here. Ning Yunying wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. The 10,000 dragon pearl fully activated, casting out a roaring horde of over 3,000 seemingly tangible true dragon shadows, forged like steel. After all, she had just recently advanced to the cave void realm, and could not fully grasp the power of the 10,000 dragon pearl, unable to summon tens of thousands of true dragon manifestations in one breath. Yet even so, the power was enough to make the many cave void emperors present feel an instant tightness in their chests, faces showing shock. Unrepentant, still daring to spread lies and confuse the crowd, it seems we must imprison you in the 10,000 tribulations dungeon, strip you of your position as a holy daughter, and imprison you until you repent. Emperor Wanfa snorted coldly. The yin-yang Dao bell hummed and vibrated, as if ancient bell tolls echoed through heaven and earth, causing monstrous waves to rise from the sea below, and pitch-black spatial cracks to spread across the sky. Crack, crack, crack. Chaotic chi flow surged from the void, transforming under the heavenly bell sound into a gigantic chaotic storm tornado, tearing apart the dragon bodies, disintegrating them in the void. Moreover, chaotic chi flow turned into a surging flood, waves of chaotic might crushing the roaring dragon crowd. Furthermore, fire from the heavens rained down. Chaotic chi flow ignited, burning the sky dome red as iron. The sea boiled, countless fish and shrimp floated on the surface, and true dragons were seared with flesh cooked and bones brittle, wailing as they dissipated into the void. This was Emperor Wanfa's trump card. These calamities were chaotic heavenly calamities emerging from the Tao River. By refining the Tao divine patterns, he gained understanding and insight into the Tao River, which combined with his 10,000 laws of freedom technique, allowed him to wield a power akin to chaotic heavenly calamities. Most of the true dragons were destroyed, but a portion managed to break through the blockade of these chaotic heavenly calamities and fiercely charged at Emperor Wanfa. The fierceness of the battle made the other cave void emperors dare not approach easily, watching the fight between the two from afar. The resonance of the yin-yang Dao bell undulated, rippling across the sky like a massive protective shield, safeguarding Emperor Wanfa. The incessant collisions of true dragons only made the yin-yang Dao bell sway, unable to truly break it. A futile struggle. Even with your high talent, you have only just advanced to cave void. Emperor Wanfa spoke with the tone of a senior, but before he could finish, he saw a true dragon shadow spontaneously explode, and Ning Yunying emerged, holding the 10,000 dragon pearl like a brick, and ferociously smashed it against the yin-yang Dao bell protecting Emperor Wanfa. Clang! It resonated like the primordial explosion of heaven and earth. The collision of the yin-yang Dao bell and the 10,000 dragon pearl made an entire swath of space turn to chaos. Veins of chaotic chi messed into tides, sweeping in all directions, forcing nearby cave void emperors to retreat again and again. Seeing Emperor Wanfa again, blood trickled from his ears, reverberating bell sounds rebounding and injuring him, nearly causing a concussion. Wanfa, you can get hurt too, wasting tens of thousands of years of cultivation, reaching the dog's belly. Ning Yunying's eyes sparkled like starlight, the 10,000 dragon pearl repeatedly striking the yin-yang Dao bell, trying to shatter this Dao treasure's protection over Emperor Wanfa. Emperor Wanfa's face was sullen, letting such a young girl as Ning Yunying injure him. Her age wasn't even a tiny fraction of his. Yet she broke through his protection with the top-level defensive treasure, the yin-yang Dao bell, drawing blood and injury, filling him with a sense of shame and anger. Ning Yunying was about to continue her assault, but an enraged Emperor Wanfa, who had now reacted, prevented it. Since you don't know what's good for you, there's no need to hold back anymore. Let me show you the gap between us, what it means to be a top great emperor. 10 absolute sealing heaven, suppress it for me. As Emperor Wanfa's words fell, the yin-yang Dao bell expanded continuously, growing larger than the mountains, taller than the 10,000 Peaks mountain. Majestic characters etched into its surface shone with dazzling golden light, like a gigantic golden bowl covering the heavens, swallowing sheets of clouds and casting an endless shadow over the sea, seemingly sealing even the sky dome with a divine power that inspires despair. Ning Yunying raised her head, seeing the Yinyang Dao Bell descending with suppression compared to the mountains, like a giant versus an ant, the ultimate suppression onto the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Boom! Ning Yunying's body was constantly pressed down, the enormous pressure causing her bones to hum and vibrate. Blood seeped from her pores. She almost became a figure bathed in blood. Yet even so, Ning Yunying still didn't choose to bow her head. She wielded the 10,000 Dragon Pearl, true dragon's sword, and her physical body radiated divine light, trying to break the seal of the Yinyang Dao Bell. But how difficult this was, as the surface of the Yinyang Dao Bell pulsed with golden characters, true Tao divine patterns, embodying the mysteries of great Tao law. With such empowerment, it was not something Ning Yunying could break. Right now, she was somewhat immature. If she had achieved Void Realm great success, using the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana Technique's Holy Body method, Emperor Wanfa wouldn't dare to act so. The Yinyang Dao Bell would have been pierced through.